Chapter 1529. Get on the boat and escape. Sister Mingxi, are you planning to seize the boat? Chen Mengyan asked in surprise. It shouldn't be difficult to seize the boat, and they can't put too many people on the boat. Victoria said, from the beginning to the end, I haven't exposed my skills. The other party shouldn't have much defense, so it should be easier to succeed. But Sister Mingxi, wasn't it a good opportunity to escape when we were taken out of the basement and into the car? At that time, there were only 2 people watching us. It should be easier, right? Chen Mengyan suddenly thought of the previous situation and asked curiously. It wasn't difficult to escape before, but where can we run to? Victoria smiled bitterly. Miss Chen, this is Maitina Town, the Black Hawk Gang's base. We don't even know how to speak Russian. Where can we run to? I'm afraid that we won't be able to go far, and we will be caught back. Instead, we will alert the enemy. That's true. I neglected this point. Chen Mengyan smiled embarrassedly. Then, after we seize the boat, we should have the confidence to escape, right? Of course, there is confidence, but it is only 50%. Victoria sighed. However, even if we fail, there will be no loss. The worst result is that we will be caught again. They won't force us. The other party is afraid of taking action for fear of breaking the vases. They are counting on us to exchange for the criminals in the hands of the Songjiang police. Naturally, they won't allow us to have any accidents. Before the criminals are exchanged, we are safe. Even if we seize the boat and escape, they can only chase behind. They won't dare to attack us with weapons. This is why I intend to take a gamble. I hope it will succeed. Is there anything I can help with? After Chen Mengyan listened to Victoria's analysis, her heart was relieved. Not yet. I'm telling you in advance because I'm afraid that you will be too surprised when the time comes. Victoria smiled. However, relax a little. It doesn't matter. Even if we fail, it's not that there is no chance to go back. I believe that after Mr. Yang comes back and finds out that we are missing, he will definitely come to us. I have already made a clear mark near the basement where we are being held while the Black Hawk Gang's people are not paying attention. After Mr. Yang sees it, he will come to rescue us. Yang Ming. Is he better than you? Chen Mengyan vaguely felt that Yang Ming should be better than Victoria, a professional black boxer. Otherwise, how could Victoria be used by him? Hee hee. Victoria smiled faintly. It's not that I look down on the Black Hawk Gang's people, but if Mr. Yang came. Don't make a sound. Their people are coming. Hearing the faint sound of footsteps outside the car, Victoria made a silent gesture and said quietly to Chen Mengyan. Chen Mengyan nodded, and her face also changed into a serious expression. The car's glass was closed, and the situation outside couldn't be seen, so it was impossible to judge who the other party was. Caw. The door of the commercial car was opened, and 2 men in black with sunglasses stood in front of the door. They were the 2 people who were responsible for monitoring and guarding Chen Mengyan and Victoria. They received the order from Victor Rajiv's secretary to invite the 2 ladies to board the boat. Although they didn't know what Victor Rajiv meant, they didn't dare to be rough. They were also very polite. Ladies, please get out of the car. The boat is ready. Come on board with us. After that, one of the men in black led the way in front, and the other followed behind. Together with Chen Mengyan and Victoria, they walked to a speedboat on the edge of the dock. Victoria and Chen Mengyan were also aware of the attitude of the 2 men in black, but they didn't think much about it. After all, it was an emergency. The other party might not want to cause more trouble, so they were so low-key. Ladies, please board the boat. The men in black said to Chen Mengyan and Victoria when they came to a very luxurious speedboat. Chen Mengyan and Victoria didn't say much. They got on the boat and went into the cabin, but the strange thing was that the two men in black didn't follow them in. After sending them to the boat, they turned and left. This made Chen Mengyan and Victoria somewhat inexplicable. Chen Mengyan and Victoria sat in the cabin and watched the two men in black leave instead of boarding the boat. They were puzzled. Sister Mingxi, why did they leave? I don't know. Who knows what they are planning? Victoria also frowned. She glanced at the cabin and found that there was no one inside. In other words, only Victoria and Chen Mengyan were left on this boat. I just don't know if there is anyone in the cockpit. What should we do now? Asked Chen Mengyan. Let's wait. I am afraid that someone will come up to sail the boat in a while. After the speedboat leaves the dock for a certain distance, we will seize the boat. The success rate of running away is higher. Otherwise, if we escape now, we will probably be caught by the ships next to us before we can leave the dock. Victoria hesitated and said, in a while, I will ambush behind the cabin door. When someone gets on the boat, I will catch him by surprise. Then, I will wait in the cabin and wait for the boat to sail. Then, I will find a way to go to the cockpit and kill the person who is sailing the boat. Okay. Chen Mengyan nodded and sat quietly in the cabin, intending to attract the attention of the people coming. How do I cooperate? In a while, you lie on the chair in the cabin and pretend to be asleep to attract the attention of the people coming. Then, I will wait for the opportunity to make a move, said Victoria. Mr. Li, the speedboat is ready. The two young ladies are also on board. What do you think? Victor Rajiv carefully said to Yang Ming after listening to the secretary's report. Good, the efficiency is good. It's not 5:00 yet. It seems that you really put in a lot of effort. Yang Ming nodded with a satisfied smile on his face. In fact, Yang Ming was far away from the MPV where Chen Mengyan was, but because of his special abilities, he was relieved to see them safely on board the boat. Then, this humble one will not keep Mr. Li any longer. Since Mr. Li has something to do, this humble one will respectfully send Mr. Li off. Victor Rajiv was not stingy with addressing himself as this humble one to Yang Ming. He was respectful to the butler of the Charles family, let alone Yang Ming, who was a higher existence than them. Victor Rajiv was an ambitious person who knew how to adapt to the circumstances. He knew that he did not have the strength to shake Yang Ming, and he was afraid that he would never be able to get back the humiliation he suffered today. Victor Rajiv also accepted his fate and felt that it did not matter. Yang Ming nodded and glanced at Victor Rajiv with a smile. Remember what I said. If you don't take the initiative to look for me in the future, I won't take the initiative to look for trouble with you. Mr. Li, please rest assured. This humble one is not the kind of person who doesn't know what to do. This humble one will not do something that will destroy the future of the gang. Victor Rajiv was afraid that Yang Ming would not believe him, so he repeatedly promised, by the way, Mr. Li, do you need a sailor to steer the boat for you? No, I can drive the speedboat myself. Yang Ming had already learned this knowledge, so there was no need for others to steer the boat. Moreover, Yang Ming did not want a third party to be present. Well, then I wish Mr. Li a smooth journey. In this sea area, I dare not say anything else, but if you encounter a patrol boat on our side, just say my name, Victor Rajiv said flatteringly. Yang Ming did not pay attention to Victor Rajiv anymore. He just waved his hand faintly, turned, and walked to the speedboat. Yang Ming was very excited to see Chen Mengyan soon, but he could not change his appearance in front of Victor Rajiv, so he could only maintain the appearance of Li Mui and board the speedboat. However, just as Yang Ming entered the cabin, a strong wind hit Yang Ming head-on. Chapter 1530. Yang Ming felt a chill in his heart, but then a trace of doubt appeared on his face. Originally, Yang Ming thought that Victor Rajiv had set up a trap for him and was ready to attack him the moment he boarded the boat. But after thinking about it, he felt that it was impossible. After all, if Victor Rajiv wanted to do it, he would have done it earlier and would not have waited until now. Moreover, in the current situation, would he dare to do anything to Yang Ming? If Victor Rajiv didn't know that Yang Ming was an assassin of the butterfly family and didn't call old Charles, then Victor Rajiv might have done something beyond common sense on impulse. But now, he knew that Yang Ming was a top assassin. Whether it was Yang Ming himself or the strong background behind Yang Ming, Victor Rajiv and a small Blackhawk gang could not compete with them. In this case, what was the difference between doing something unwise and courting death? Moreover, although Yang Ming's eyes were not always on the speedboat, when Victor Rajiv's men prepared the speedboat, Yang Ming deliberately scanned the interior of the speedboat with his special ability and did not find any abnormalities or suspicious people inside. After the speedboat docked at the dock, the maintenance technician repaired the speedboat and refueled it. All the people on the speedboat left until Chen Mengyan and Victoria boarded the boat. No one else boarded the boat. Therefore, Yang Ming could quickly judge that the person who attacked him on the boat at this moment could not be Victor Rajiv's people. This person was either Chen Mengyan or Victoria. Thinking of this, Yang Ming immediately stopped his killing move. Yang Ming was originally prepared to kill the person who attacked him mercilessly, but after understanding the reason, he was scared. If he found out that the person he was going to attack was Chen Mengyan or Victoria, it would be too late. Even if he wanted to stop, it was impossible to stop completely. The best result would be a minor injury. But fortunately, Yang Ming stopped his killing move in time. For this aggressive attack, he just dodged slightly and blocked it with his hand. He easily resolved this round of attack and firmly grasped the attacker's hand. "Ah!" Victoria suddenly exclaimed. She didn't expect the person's skill to be so fierce. Not only did he easily avoid her attack, but he could also grab her wrist. At this moment, Yang Ming also entered the cabin in a flash and then closed the cabin door. Victoria saw that she had been exposed, so she could only bite the bullet and continue to fight. This was the only chance. If she lost it, she didn't know when she would have to wait. Moreover, since she had already shown her skills in front of the opponent would definitely be more vigilant against her. It would be impossible to win by surprise next time. Of course, the only thing that made Victoria feel strange was that the person she attacked didn't shout for reinforcements. Instead, he closed the cabin door. Isn't this creating an opportunity for me? Could it be that he is very confident in his skills and thinks that I am definitely not his opponent? Victoria, it's me. Yang Ming saw that Victoria was going to continue to attack him and whispered quickly. "You." Victoria listened to this familiar voice and looked at Yang Ming with some surprise, but she couldn't see any clues on Yang Ming's face. This was the face of a middle-aged man in his 40s. There was no sign of disguise at all. It was completely different from the person she was familiar with. There was no similarity at all. Even the shape of the face had changed. These were not things that could be easily changed with a disguise. Just as Victoria was bewildered, Chen Mengyan exclaimed in surprise, "Yang Ming, it's you." As she spoke, she directly rushed into Yang Ming's arms, regardless of whether Yang Ming's face was this 40-year-old face. Looking at Victoria's bewildered look and Chen Mengyan's completely different certainty, Yang Ming was a little confused. Although he hugged Chen Mengyan tightly in his arms, he asked curiously, "Mengyan, how are you so sure that it's me? Your voice, your eyes, and the smell on your body." Chen Mengyan said without hesitation, "These can't be changed. I have been with you for so long. I am already familiar with these. So when I saw you for the first time, heard you for the first time, and smelled you, I was sure that it was you." "Really? Am I so easy to be seen through?" It seems that this disguise really failed. Yang Ming smiled bitterly and touched his nose. Then, he casually wiped his face and restored his original appearance. Although Victoria stood aside and stared at Yang Ming without blinking, she did not see how Yang Ming erased the disguise. It was as fast as a face-changing master. Yang Ming had to admire a woman's intuition and keen sense. With his special ability, Yang Ming was sure that it could be flawless, but it was still easily seen through by Chen Mengyan. Victoria, on the other hand, was secretly ashamed, although she was also somewhat sure that the person who came was Yang Ming. Yang Ming's voice and the fact that he directly called out the name Victoria had made Victoria confirm the identity of Yang Ming. In particular, with Yang Ming's fierce skills, Victoria was sure that she could knock down a person without any defense. There were not many people who could be stronger than her. Among the people she knew, Yang Ming was one, and Wang Xiaoyan was another. As for the others, she really did not meet any opponents. However, she still hesitated. Compared to Chen Mingyan's days and nights together, Victoria still lacked the sense of familiarity with Yang Ming, which caused her to be suspicious. Not really. I'm afraid it's just an intuition. Chen Mengyan suddenly remembered that Victoria was still by her side, and this was definitely not the time to be affectionate. They were still in danger. How could they be sentimental? Chen Mengyan blushed and hurriedly left Yang Ming's arms and said softly. Yang Ming nodded. He could only attribute it to intuition. Otherwise, Yang Ming would feel that he was a failure as an assassin. It's fine now. Let's go back to Songjiang. Yang Ming glanced at Victoria and said. Black Hawk Gang. Victoria looked at Yang Ming strangely. It was a little strange. How could it be fine all of a sudden? I talked to their leader. They will not appear in Songjiang again in the future. Yang Ming said, now I'm going to sail the ship. You two rest in the cabin. If there is anything, wait until we return to Songjiang. I will go to the cockpit with you. Chen Mengyan had just escaped from danger. Especially when she saw Yang Ming, who she had not seen for a long time, she was even more reluctant to be separated from him, so she took the initiative to ask. Well, if you are not tired, you can come together. Yang Ming did not force her and nodded. I can drive a speedboat. I can help you. Victoria said subconsciously for some unknown reason. Yang Ming glared at her. Originally, Yang Ming was still thinking about being intimate with Chen Mengyan in the cockpit, but he did not expect this woman to join in. However, before Yang Ming could speak, Chen Mengyan spoke first. Okay, Sister Mingxi, you can come together. Otherwise, it is meaningless for you to stay in the cabin alone. Since Chen Mengyan said so, Yang Ming did not say anything more. He was still grateful to Victoria. After all, when Chen Mengyan was in danger, she could stand up and take the initiative to go into the tiger's den with Chen Mengyan. Although nothing dangerous happened, and the matter was quickly resolved, at least it could be seen that Victoria was loyal. However, for some reason, Yang Ming always felt that Victoria seemed to be seducing him. He didn't know if it was Yang Ming's illusion, or Victoria really did not avoid suspicion and treated him as one of her own. Thinking of that time in the hotel, Victoria was naked in front of him. Yang Ming was embarrassed, but there was a ripple in the depths of his heart. Chapter 1531. Mr. Yang, how did you disguise yourself before? Why is it so realistic? Victoria turned her head and asked Yang Ming curiously. Drive your boat well. I will tell you about this when I have time. After Yang Ming knew that Victoria could drive the speedboat, he simply gave her the right to drive the speedboat. Since you regard yourself as one of us, right? Then, Yang Ming simply treated Victoria as if she didn't exist. He directly hugged Chen Mengyan in his arms. Victoria snorted and glanced at Yang Ming, but she didn't say anything. She continued to focus on the speedboat and turned a deaf ear to the matter between Yang Ming and Qin Mengyan. Qin Mengyan was a little shy and couldn't stand it. She pushed Yang Ming and whispered, "How about after we get home? There are still people here. I am her master. It doesn't matter." Yang Ming smiled faintly. Qin Mengyan struggled, but she couldn't break free. She changed the topic. "Yang Ming, why did you come so quickly? When they brought me and Sister Mingxi to the dock, I thought that my father sent someone to negotiate the exchange of hostages. Uncle Chen is also in a difficult situation. I hope you don't blame him." Yang Ming sighed. After all, there is always a choice between public and private matters. "I know. I can naturally understand." Qin Mengyan nodded. "If my father really gives up his original principles because of me, then I will look down on him. I have admired him since I was a child. I even hope that my future husband will be such an indomitable person, eliminating violence and bringing peace to the people. But now it seems that this wish can't be realized. Why? Am I that bad?" Yang Ming was a little dumbfounded. Eliminating violence and bringing peace to the people? If he knew that Qin Mengyan liked Superman, Yang Ming would have spent a little effort to get rid of the Black Hawk gang. Of course not. Qin Mengyan smiled slyly and said, "You barely qualify as an indomitable spirit. But you're still a student. You just have to do what you're supposed to do. Of course, you don't have to do anything else. I thought you wanted me to be Ultraman." Yang Ming was speechless for a while. He felt that he was tricked by Qin Mengyan. "Ha, of course not." Qin Mengyan laughed and said, "By the way, Yang Ming, how did you get the Black Hawk gang to release him? Does my father know about this? Uncle Qin naturally knows that I'm here to save you." Yang Ming said, "As for how I made the Black Hawk gang release you, it's actually very simple. I called a friend of mine. He is the person in charge of a force in Europe. The leader of the Black Hawk gang, Victor Rajiv, can't afford to provoke that person, so he can only return you to me." "Ah. It's that simple." Qin Mengyan blinked and looked at Yang Ming in disbelief. "And, how do you know the person in charge of the big European force?" That person is a partner of my father's company in Europe." Yang Ming said with some truth, "He has a lot of power over there. He has an unexpected influence. It turns out to be like this." Qin Mengyan didn't ask more after listening to Yang Ming. The speedboat sailed quickly on the sea, but when it approached the waters of Bianhai City, a patrol boat sent a signal and intercepted the speedboat Yang Ming was in. Obviously, the other party regarded him as an illegal immigrant. "Mr. Yang, what should we do? Should we break through or return?" Victoria looked at the situation in front of her and frowned as she asked Yang Ming. "The other party asked us to get closer for inspection. Just listen to him." Yang Ming glanced at the patrol boat in front of him. After confirming that it was a regular official patrol boat, he instructed calmly. "Okay." Victoria hesitated. Although she didn't know why Yang Ming wanted to do this, she still followed Yang Ming's instructions. She continued to drive the speedboat forward and was ready to dock next to the patrol boat in front. "Yang Ming, are you a stowaway?" Qin Mengyan also reacted at this time and roughly saw some clues. Previously, she and Victoria were taken to Mytina town in Russia by a stowaway boat. Yang Ming was now driving the speedboat back, so it should be the same. Sort of. Yang Ming shrugged. "Do you need to call my father?" Qin Mengyan hesitated after listening to Yang Ming's words. "No need. I can solve it." Yang Ming smiled and said indifferently. Seeing Yang Ming's confident expression, Qin Mengyan was relieved and no longer said anything. When the speedboat approached the patrol boat, it slowed down and docked at the patrol boat. At the same time, a light beam came from the patrol boat, and a voice shouted, "Who is in the speedboat in front of us? Please stop the boat for inspection." "Do as he says," Yang Ming said to Victoria. After listening to Yang Ming's words, Victoria docked the speedboat next to the patrol boat and turned off the motor. On the patrol boat, several armed border patrol officers jumped over one after another and boarded Yang Ming's speedboat vigilantly. Obviously, Yang Ming didn't grasp the patrol time and pattern of these people, so he happened to bump into them. Pu Dainu and Victor Rajiv's people had probably grasped the patrol pattern and found a loophole to exploit. "Who are you? Take out your documents." The leader of the patrol officers looked at Yang Ming and the other two and asked. The others held their guns in their hands and were on high alert. Yang Ming took out 2 documents and handed them to the patrol officer. One was from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, and the other was from the army. They were both given to him by Xiao Bingbao. Yang Ming wasn't sure if the people here would recognize the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's documents, so he also handed them to the patrol officer along with the local army's documents. After the patrol officer saw the cover of Yang Ming's Supernatural Investigation Bureau's documents, his face changed into a solemn expression. His attitude towards Yang Ming was not as cold as before. He carefully opened the documents, checked the authenticity of the photos and documents, and handed them back to Yang Ming. As for the army's documents, he didn't even look at them. He also knew that this document was enough. It didn't matter if he looked at the others or not. The patrol officer was also a person with good eyesight. When he saw that there were other people beside Yang Ming, he wasn't sure if Yang Ming was hiding his identity. He was no stranger to the people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. These people often crossed the border to perform some secret missions, so it wasn't unusual for them to recognize this document. After hesitating, the patrol officer didn't expose him. He just said to Yang Ming, "Mr. Yang, thank you for your cooperation. Sorry for wasting your time. You can leave now." "It's okay." Yang Ming smiled slightly, put away the documents, and didn't say much. The patrol officer quickly withdrew and then quickly drove away. Yang Ming's speedboat continued to drive to the pier of Bianhai City under the control of Victoria. "Yang Ming, what kind of identification did you show him just now? Why haven't I seen it before?" Chen Mengyan looked at Yang Ming curiously and asked, "Can you show it to me?" "It's nothing. Before I left, Uncle Chen asked someone to help me get a document. It can be used to deal with the border inspection." Yang Ming didn't say anything about the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Instead, he took out the army's document and handed it to Chen Mengyan. The lights at night were very dim. Chen Mengyan didn't see it clearly. Naturally, she didn't know that Yang Ming had another document. She took a look at it and looked at Yang Ming strangely, "The army's document. In order to save you, it's just a name. After I go back, I have to return it to your father." Yang Ming smiled. "I see. I was still a little excited. I thought you really became a person who got rid of violence and brought peace to the people." Chen Mengyan shook her head with some disappointment. She had just finished talking about getting rid of violence and bringing peace to the people. Now that she saw Yang Ming become a soldier, she felt that her dream had come true. However, she didn't expect that it was just a name. After she went back, she had to return it. Yang Ming smiled and put away the document. Then, when he looked up, he happened to meet Victoria's smiling eyes. Yang Ming was slightly stunned and guessed roughly. With Victoria's keen observation, she obviously saw that the document that Yang Ming just gave out was another document. However, she didn't expose it and immediately continued to focus on the speedboat. Chapter 1532. At around 6:00 in the morning, the speedboat finally docked at Bianhai City's pier. Pu Dainu had already received the news and was quietly waiting for Yang Ming's return with his men at the pier. At this moment, Yang Ming had once again returned to his original appearance as Li Mui. Chen Mengyan and Victoria were very curious as to how he managed to change his appearance so quickly. They wanted to ask in detail, but felt that it was not the right time, so they remained silent for the time being. "Mr. Li, congratulations on your safe return." Pu Dainu saw Yang Ming coming ashore and took the lead to rush over to greet Yang Ming. Of course, it was because Yang Ming helped him find out the spy who had been lurking around him for many years. More importantly, it was because Yang Ming was able to bring the person back from the Black Hawk gang, and it seemed that there was no injury at all. Pu Dainu was very clear about how powerful the Black Hawk gang was. At this pier, he couldn't even compete with the Golden Hawk gang, a branch of the Black Hawk gang, let alone the Black Hawk gang headquarters. Furthermore, they were in other people's territory. Yang Ming even brought 2 weak women back safely. How strong did he need to be to do that? Therefore, when he thought of this, Pu Dainu became even more respectful towards Yang Ming. "Didn't we agree to call me Old Li? Did I call you Dainu?" Yang Ming naturally understood why Pu Dainu was like this. He smiled and said, "Dainu, you can rest assured from now on. The Black Hawk gang won't send people over anymore, really. Brother Old Li, this is really good news." Dainu, thank you." Pu Dainu had been worried that although the Golden Hawk gang was destroyed, the Black Hawk gang, as the headquarters, would definitely not let go of such a favorable geographical location like Bianhai City. They might even send people to take over the business here again. Therefore, after Pu Dainu was happy, he returned to normal. Now that he heard Yang Ming's news, he was very excited. "Of course, this is true." Yang Ming nodded and changed the topic. "However, Dainu, you and I are kindred spirits. As a brother, I'll give you a piece of advice. It's up to you whether you want to listen or not. However, I still have something to say." "Oh. Brother Old Li, please speak." Pu Dainu listened to Yang Ming's words and asked cautiously with a serious expression. "Dainu, it's better if you don't do illegal immigration in the future." Yang Ming said, "Dainu, I'm not asking you to stop doing its illegal immigration." Pu Dainu's expression changed slightly as he lowered his head. How could he not understand Yang Ming's words? As the head of the local gangs, of course, they would not look for stowaways themselves. Many of the stowaways were found by their own subordinates, the so-called henchmen or flying saucers. In order to get a commission, most of these people used all their means and resorted to every conceivable means. They tricked some people who lived in poverty and described the world to be full of gold and a place where it was easy to make money. These people removed and gave all their savings to these henchmen to help them stow away. In the end, most of them found that this place was even poorer than China, and it was even harder to find a job. However, it was too late for regrets now. The smuggler and his henchmen had long disappeared. Moreover, they had to constantly be on guard against being caught by the local police as an illegal immigrant and sent back to their country. Their dream of making a fortune abroad was shattered just like that. Of course, even so, they could only admit that they were unlucky. Did they still have the guts to reason with the snakehead? Therefore, people like this kept coming in batches after batches. Although Pu Dainu knew that a lot of people were tricked by his henchmen, he pretended not to know. As long as the henchman paid the fee, he would also pretend not to know. Yang Ming had obviously noticed this. After pondering for a while, he told Pu Dainu about it. "Mr. Li, we rely on this for a living." Pu Dainu said awkwardly. "Dainu, I'm only telling you this because of our relationship. If it were the Golden Hawk gang, hee." Yang Ming sneered, "As for their living, the Golden Hawk logistics has already collapsed. They won't be coming back." I believe I don't need to say more. You know that logistics is a very profitable industry. Although it can't be compared to their old business of drug trafficking, it's comparable to you being this head. After hearing Yang Ming's words, Pu Dainyi's face darkened. Then, his eyes lit up. Pu Dainyi could naturally tell that Yang Ming was threatening him. Although he was a little unhappy, he knew that he wasn't Yang Ming's opponent. The other party could easily destroy the Golden Hawk gang and take the hostages back from the Black Hawk gang. With this kind of ability, it would only take a breath for him to destroy Pu Dainyi. Pu Dainyi didn't think that his relationship with Yang Ming was very deep. He and Yang Ming had only known each other for less than a day. He only knew Yang Ming through Uncle Sun San's introduction. Therefore, Pu Dainyi didn't dare to say anything about this. Although he felt that Yang Ming was cutting off his source of income, he couldn't do anything about it. However, when he heard Yang Ming's last sentence, Pu Dainyi was overjoyed again. If the Golden Hawk gang's previous logistics business was transferred to him, then Pu Dainyi wouldn't need to be an illegal immigrant anymore. He could totally rely on the logistics business to become rich. Mr. Li, are you serious? Although Pu Dainyi was overjoyed, he knew that he wasn't the only one who had their eyes on the logistics business. Other than him, there were others who had been drooling over the Golden Hawk gang's logistics business for a long time. I'll talk to Uncle Sun San and ask him to help you settle it, Yang Ming said calmly. That's good. Thank you for your trouble, Mr. Li. Pu Dainyi was relieved when he heard that Uncle Sun San was going to help him. Yang Ming didn't stay in Bianhai City for long. Instead, he went to the place where he stored his car. He drove Chen Mengyan and Victoria back to Songjiang. As for what Yang Ming said to Pu Dainyi, it was also because of his feelings. Yang Ming didn't know if his mentality had changed or if it had never changed at all. That was the conscience and kindness in his heart. Although Yang Ming felt that his inner heart had been trained to be ruthless and decisive enough, that was only toward his enemies. He still couldn't bear to do that to those innocent people. Therefore, Yang Ming naturally wouldn't be stingy with helping when he could. Yang Ming's words were said behind Chen Mengyan and Victoria's back. Therefore, the two of them didn't know what Yang Ming and Pu Dainyi talked about. They only thought that Pu Dainyi was just a friend of Yang Ming's. When the car stopped at Chen Mengyan's neighborhood, it was already noon. The area around Chen Mengyan's neighborhood was still filled with police cars. There were also a few plainclothes officers walking back and forth. It was believed that the incident this time had raised the Songjiang police's vigilance to the highest. They were afraid that the Black Hawk gang would still choose to target the families of other police officers. Therefore, the residential area was filled with police officers. This was especially true for the families of several bureau leaders and members of the anti-narcotics brigade. Yang Ming's BMW number was registered in these people's hearts. Therefore, when the car entered the neighborhood, there was no obstruction. However, when Yang Ming, Chen Mengyan, and Victoria got out of the car together, a few plainclothes officers who saw them had an unbelievable look in their eyes. It was no wonder. They heard that the bureau had been in a meeting since last night to discuss the rescue of the hostages. The people on duty also took shifts. They had just changed shifts. Naturally, they knew that the results of the discussion were not out yet. However, the hostages that they were discussing in a meeting actually appeared in front of their house safe and sound. How could this not surprise these people? The plainclothes officer rubbed his eyes hard. He thought that the long hours on duty had caused visual fatigue and caused him to hallucinate. However, after rubbing his eyes and taking a closer look, it was indeed Chen Mengyan. He couldn't help but open his mouth wide. Mengyan, why are you back? Why, Uncle Li? Can't we come back? Yang Ming smiled and greeted the plainclothes officer on duty. This person was Chen Fei's former subordinate, the vice captain of the criminal investigation team. Now, he was Xia Shui's subordinate. Yang Ming had seen him many times. When Chen Fei was in a car accident, Yang Ming had dealt with him. Later, Yang Ming also had contact with him during Wang Shifan's series of incidents, so they were very familiar with each other. Little Yang, how did you come back? Does Bureau Chief Chen know? Vice Captain Li confirmed that it was Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan, so he immediately asked in surprise. Not yet. Yang Ming smiled bitterly and shook his head. Previously, when he was swimming in the sea, the mobile phone had entered the water. It could still be used to record videos and send multimedia messages to Pu Dainu. However, after a while, it couldn't be turned on anymore. Apparently, the seawater had corroded the circuit board, making it completely unusable. Chen Mengyan and Victoria's mobile phones had long been confiscated by the Blackhawk gang. Yang Ming didn't intend to use other people's phones. This might leave some unnecessary trouble and clues. Therefore, he simply drove all the way back and went straight to Chen Mengyan's house. He didn't contact Uncle Chen and the others in advance. Chapter 1533. In the conference room of the Songjiang police station, it was divided into two sides at the moment. They were fiercely debating. Chief Chen, I think the most important thing at the moment is the safety of Chen Mengyan. Let's postpone the other things. On one hand, people felt that the safety of the hostage was more important than anything else. Since the other party had proposed an exchange request, they might as well meet the other party's request first. They would extradite the criminal back to their country and let them deal with it themselves. It would also save a lot of trouble. But on the other hand, they felt that if they let the criminal go so hastily, wouldn't they be compromising with the other party's evil forces? Chen Fei also had a headache. Although he was worried about the safety of Chen Mengyan, he couldn't just care about his daughter's safety and ignore the overall situation. Some of his subordinates were devoted to the public, and some were trying to please him. How could Chen Fei not see it? Among the people who agreed to exchange the criminal for Chen Mengyan, some were genuinely concerned about the safety of the hostage. They felt that the safety of the hostage was more important than anything else, but some were only in favor of it to please Chen Fei. Chen Fei sighed. It was difficult to make a choice. After all, he only had one daughter. Although Xia Shui said that Yang Ming had gone to rescue Chen Mengyan alone, Chen Fei didn't know how strong Yang Ming was. He only knew that Yang Ming was a member of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. He knew that Yang Ming must have something extraordinary, but even if he had something extraordinary, facing the power of the other party, he could only temporarily retreat. While he was in a dilemma, Chen Fei's cell phone rang. Chen Fei glanced at the caller ID. It was Deputy Captain Li of the Criminal Investigation Team. He made a silent gesture to the others and picked up the phone. Old Li, what's the situation? Chen Fei had already instructed everyone before that if there was nothing important in the meeting, they shouldn't call so as not to affect the normal progress of the meeting. So, when Deputy Captain Li called at this moment, it was obviously something important. Chief Chen Mengyan is back. Little Yang brought her back. They came back together with the girl named Chen Mingxi, who was kidnapped together. Deputy Captain Li's voice was very happy. What? Old Li, you said that Yang Ming brought Mengyan back. Where? Chen Fei was stunned, and then asked in disbelief, Old Li, are you sure? Chief Chen, they're right beside me. Please wait a moment, I'll get Mengyan to talk to you. Vice Captain Li didn't believe it when he saw Yang Ming bringing Chen Mengyan back with his own eyes, let alone when Chen Fei only heard a few words over the phone. Therefore, Vice Captain Li didn't bother to explain further. He simply asked Chen Mengyan to answer the phone. Dad, I'm at home. I'm fine. Chen Mengyan picked up the phone. She had wanted to tell her father that she was safe for a long time, but she didn't have a chance along the way. Meng Yan. It's really you. Chen Fei was so excited that he suddenly stood up. The other people who were attending the meeting at the side looked at Chen Fei in surprise. When they heard him exclaim Meng Yan, they didn't know what had happened. However, looking at his expression, he was very happy. He didn't have the slightest anxiety or worry. It must be good news. Dad, Yang Ming brought me and Sister Mingxi back safely. You don't have to worry. Chen Mengyan was touched when she heard her father being so excited. It seemed that her father was worried about her safety all the time. Thinking about it, with her father's position and responsibilities, it was very difficult for him to face the choice between family and justice. He was already very strong to be able to hold on until now without collapsing. It's good that you're back. It's good that you're back. The big stone in Chen Fei's heart finally fell. However, he didn't expect that Yang Ming actually did it. In addition to being happy, he was also amazed. No wonder the people over there valued Yang Ming so much. It seemed that Yang Ming had extraordinary abilities. Thinking that Yang Ming was discovered by himself, Chen Fei smiled and said, Meng Yan, give the phone to Yang Ming. I'll talk to him. Oh, okay. Chen Mengyan still wanted to complain to her father, but she didn't expect her father to look for Yang Ming directly. She had to hand the phone to Yang Ming reluctantly. Yang Ming, my dad is looking for you. Hello, Uncle Chen. Yang Ming took the phone and said with a smile. Little Yang, Uncle Chen really didn't expect it. Chen Fei didn't care about the strange looks of his colleagues. Uncle Chen has already said that Uncle Chen thinks highly of you. You really didn't let Uncle Chen down. This time, it's all thanks to you. It seems that Uncle Chen had a lot of foresight in the beginning. Chen Fei was a little incoherent because of the sudden joy. It was also difficult for him. His daughter was caught, but he had to harden his heart and ignore the demands of the robbers. He had already withstood a lot of pressure to do this. When his daughter suddenly came back safely, Chen Fei suddenly exploded and chattered like a child. After Yang Ming heard Chen Fei's words, he didn't know whether to laugh or cry, but he had a feeling of nostalgia. Thinking about last year, it was probably around this time. On the eve of the college entrance examination, he came back from a date with Chen Mengyan, but he met Chen Mingyan's father in his own courtyard. Of course, at that time, he didn't know that Chen Fei was Chen Mingyan's father. He even stupidly said that he liked Chen Mengyan. What he didn't expect was that Chen Fei said, Uncle Chen thinks highly of you. Thinking of the past, Yang Ming touched his nose. Yang Ming, you and Mengyan wait for me. I will go back now. Chen Fei may have also thought of Yang Ming's embarrassment at that time. He suddenly felt a little embarrassed and said with a laugh. Okay, then Meng Yan and I will go upstairs first. Yang Ming responded and hung up the phone. He returned the phone to Deputy Captain Li. Uncle Li, Meng Yan and I will go upstairs first. Uncle Chen will be back in a while. Do you want to go upstairs with us to rest? I won't go. Although you are fine, I am still on duty. How can I just go upstairs to rest? Deputy Captain Li smiled and said. Yang Ming nodded and went upstairs with Chen Mengyan. At the door of Chen Mengyan's house, there was no police guarding. Instead, the door was closed. Yang Ming had the key to Chen Mengyan's house. He took out the key and inserted it into the keyhole to open the security door. When he opened the door, he heard Mother Chen's roar, You dare to come back? Didn't I tell you? If you don't save your daughter, don't come back. Accompanied by the roar, a sofa cushion flew toward Yang Ming's head. Yang Ming was shocked. He smiled bitterly and reached out to grab the sofa cushion in his hand. He said, Auntie Chen, it's me, Yang Ming. Ah, Yang Ming. When Mother Chin heard Yang Ming's voice, she suddenly felt apologetic. She quickly got up from the sofa in the living room and walked toward the door. Chen Mengyan was kidnapped. Mother Chen and Qin Fei argued more than once. She even gave Qin Fei a death order. No matter what, even if he didn't want to be the bureau chief, he had to bring his daughter back safely. When she heard the sound of the door opening, Mother Chin thought that Qin Fei had come back. When she thought about it, she was angry, so she threw the sofa cushion without thinking. After all, except for Qin Fei, only Chen Mengyan and Yang Ming had the key to this house. Chen Mengyan was kidnapped, and only Yang Ming was left. Although Mother Chen didn't know that Yang Ming went to rescue Chen Mengyan, at this time, it was impossible for Yang Ming to open the door with the key without knocking. That was impolite. Therefore, Mother Chen didn't think much about it. After hearing Yang Ming's voice, she knew that she hit the wrong person. Chapter 1534. Yang Ming, why are you here at this time? Mother Chen was a little puzzled. After all, Yang Ming should be in school at this time. Even if he came, he couldn't use the key to open the door by himself. Mom, are you at home? Chen Mengyan saw that the door of the house was closed. She subconsciously thought that her mother had gone to work and there was no one at home, so she asked Yang Ming to take out the key to open the door. She didn't expect that there was someone at home. Little Yin. Mother Chin exclaimed in surprise. She immediately quickened her pace and stumbled over. When she saw that it was really her daughter standing at the door, Mother Chin couldn't help but burst into tears. Xiao Yan, you're really back. That's great. Mom was so worried about you. With that said, Mother Chin hugged Chen Mengyan tightly in her arms and kept patting her back. Little Yen, if you didn't come back, Mom would die. Chen Mengyan looked at Yang Ming, who was smiling but not smiling. She was embarrassed and said, Mom, Yang Ming is still here. Ah. When Mother Chen saw that Chen Mengyan suddenly returned home, she was so excited and happy that she directly ignored Yang Ming, who was beside Chen Mengyan. When she heard Chen Mengyan's reminder, she remembered that there was still someone beside her. She suddenly felt very embarrassed. Chen Mengyan, I'm sorry. I let you see a joke. Auntie is too happy. When I get excited, it's okay, Auntie Chen. You are also confused because you care. Yang Ming smiled and said, when I first saw Mengyan, I was also like this. Victoria didn't go upstairs and was left in the car downstairs. Yang Ming didn't let her come up. Otherwise, some things would be difficult to explain. Yang Ming also didn't want Victoria's identity to be exposed because it also involved part of his privacy. Mother Chen was very satisfied with Yang Ming's tactfulness. She smiled and said, by the way, Mengyan, how did you come back? Did your father finally agree to use criminals in exchange for you? At least he still has some conscience and knows which is more important. Ha! After Chen Mengyan heard Mother Chen's words, she looked at her mother in shock. She was stunned for a moment before she finally understood the meaning of her mother's words. She didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Mom, it was Yang Ming who saved me, Yang Ming. Mother Chen turned her gaze to Yang Ming in disbelief and said, Mengyan, is this true? Didn't your father use that drug dealer to get you back? Mom, how can my dad be that kind of person? Even if he exchanged me for a drug dealer, I would only look down on him. Chen Mengyan shook her head. She didn't know whether to laugh or cry as she said, it was Yang Ming who used his connections to talk to the leader of the Black Hawk gang. Then, Sister Mingxi and I were released. Using his connections. Mother Chen was obviously not as simple as Chen Mengyan. Naturally, she wouldn't believe Yang Ming's words. In fact, Chen Mengyan and Victoria were the bargaining chips for the leader of the Black Hawk gang to safely rescue his son. How could he just let them go? Even if he used his connections, the leader of the Black Hawk gang probably wouldn't agree, right? How sharp was Yang Ming's intuition? He immediately noticed Mother Chen's suspicion, so he smiled and said, if it were an ordinary person speaking, the leader of the Black Hawk gang would naturally not give face. However, this person is my father's business partner, the current patriarch of the Buffon family, the largest family in Europe. He has considerable power throughout Europe. Russia is also a European country, so the Black Hawk gang had to compromise. The Buffon family, it turns out to be like this. No wonder the Black Hawk gang would compromise. Mother Chen showed a clear expression after listening to Yang Ming's explanation. The cooperation between Mingyang Heavy Industry and the Buffon family was not a secret. Mother Chen naturally knew about it. What kind of existence was the Buffon family? Mother Chen was also very clear about it. Even if the Black Hawk gang was an underworld gang, it was impossible for them not to give face to old Buffon. Even if they were reluctant, they could only swallow it. This was a major event that involved the survival of the entire Black Hawk gang. She believed that the leader of the Black Hawk gang could make a wise choice. This is also a fluke. If the Black Hawk gang was not in the European territory, I believe that things would not be so smooth. Yang Ming sighed and said ambiguously. This is true, but anyway, Yang Ming, Auntie thanks you. Mother Chen took a deep breath, patted Yang Ming's shoulder, and said sincerely. Auntie Chen, what are you saying? If I don't save her, who will save her? Yang Ming suddenly felt a little dumbfounded. Meng Yan is your daughter, but she is also my girlfriend. Ha, but you're quite considerate, child. Mother Chen sighed, and then said slowly, before this, I was still worried about handing Meng Yan over to you. I was afraid that you would not treat her well in the future. I was afraid that you could not protect her, but today, I am completely relieved, Mom. Chen Mengyan suddenly blushed, and she was a little embarrassed. What are you talking about? Yang Ming also had a strange expression on his face. He didn't expect that his words would lead to so much emotion from Mother Chen. Little Yan, don't talk first. Listen to me. Mother Chen waved her hand and interrupted Chen Mengyan's words, not letting her disturb. Oh. Chen Mengyan had to nod and no longer say anything. Yang Ming also listened attentively. Before, when you were together, there were some words that I didn't say because you were still young. It was a bit early to say those words. So, I planned to wait until the day of your wedding to say it. Mother Chen said, but now it seems that those words don't need to be said. What words? Chen Mengyan blinked her eyes curiously. Looking at her mother's serious expression, she knew that she had something important to say. Yang Ming, in fact, in addition to little Yan, you are still entangled with 2 other girls. Your Uncle Chen knows about this matter, and I know about it too. Mother Chen changed the topic and said seriously, although the things between the 2 girls named Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejia have some coincidences and intentions, I don't know how you let little Yan accept this fact and maintain the balance, but what I want to say is that now you are still young. I won't interfere with these things, but one day when you and little Yan get married, other relationships will be cut off. I don't want my daughter to be unhappy. This. Yang Ming's heart was shocked, and his face was full of cold sweat. He originally thought that only Uncle Chin knew about these things, but he didn't expect Mother Chin to know such details. Especially Mother Chen's decision, it made Yang Ming feel shocked and embarrassed. It was absolutely impossible for him to give up Zhou Jiejia and Lin Jiyun because of Chen Mengyan. Not only Yang Ming, but even Chen Mengyan's face changed at the moment. Although she acquiesced to the existence of Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejia in her heart, it was another matter if her parents knew about it. Chen Mengyan had a feeling of being in a dilemma. Don't say anything first. Listen to me. Mother Chen made a gesture to Yang Ming to calm down and then continued, however, after today's incident, I think I don't have to say these words, and Yang Ming's eyes lit up. He faintly guessed what Mother Chen was going to say next, and his heart was suddenly happy. There is an old saying that a husband and wife are birds in the same forest, but they fly away separately when a disaster befalls them. Mother Chen looked deeply at Yang Ming and said, a husband and wife are already like this, not to mention that you are just a boyfriend and girlfriend relationship. Yang Ming, you can stay by little Yan's side at this time and save her. This makes me very gratified. Although this time, you asked someone to talk to the leader of the Black Hawk gang, I'm afraid you are aware of the risks in this. Some things can't be solved by just talking to someone. If the other party goes crazy, they might even leave you there. You dared to go to Russia alone and bring little Yan back. What else can I say? With this incident, I can see your feelings for little Yan. So, I won't say what I originally said. As long as little Yan is happy, and she feels that it's nothing, I will no longer interfere in your matters. This. Yang Ming looked at Mother Chen in disbelief. That's it. Originally, Yang Ming thought that he would be scolded severely. Chapter 1535. Even Chen Mengyan had a look of disbelief on her face. Mom, are you telling the truth? Mother Chen smiled and nodded calmly. Mom, you are so nice. Chen Mengyan's heart was relieved. She hugged Mother Chen in surprise. This matter had always been a sore point in her heart. She didn't know how to explain it to her parents, especially after living under the same roof with Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejia. She was worried that one day her parents would discover the secret. However, when she heard that her mother finally relented and agreed to this matter, how could Chen Mengyan not be happy? After all, it was most important to get the understanding of her parents. So nice. Mother Chen looked at her daughter's happy look and couldn't help but smile bitterly. Little Yan, Mom won't pursue this matter. The one who should be happy should be Yang Ming. Why are you so happy? Chen Mingyan's face turned red and found that something was wrong. I shouldn't be happy about this matter. Why am I happy? She glared at Yang Ming fiercely, turned her face away, and ignored Yang Ming. Mother Chen smiled. The original knot in her heart also disappeared with Chen Mingyan's attitude. Her daughter didn't care, so why should she care? As they were talking, the sound of the key opening the door came again. Chen Fei rushed in. As soon as he entered the door, he almost bumped into Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan who were standing at the door. Old Chen, why are you so impatient? Although Mother Chen was no longer so angry with Chen Mengyan because Chen Fei had returned, the whole thing was caused by Chen Fei. If it weren't for the drug dealer, would Chen Mengyan be kidnapped? Therefore, although she no longer hated Chen Fei in her heart, her tone was still cold with no trace of friendliness. Mengyan, you really came back. Chen Fei didn't care about Mother Chen's sarcasm. He looked at Chen Mengyan with a smile and looked at Yang Ming on the side. His big hand directly hit Yang Ming's shoulder. Good boy, you didn't let Uncle Chen down. Let's go to the study with Uncle Chen. Let's have a good talk. Oh, okay. Yang Ming thought, luckily, I have practiced. Otherwise, wouldn't my shoulder be broken by you? If it were someone else, he would definitely be sitting on the ground. If I didn't insist on training, how could I withstand such a blow? Chen Fei was slightly puzzled. He was too excited to control. He didn't control of his strength but Chen Fei was shocked. He knew the power of his palm very well. One had to know that he had once won the title of the provincial police's internal mixed martial arts champion. With this slap, even if Yang Ming did not sit on the ground, his arm would have been dislocated. The best-case scenario would have been a black and blue bruise. However, Yang Ming seemed to be fine and easily endured it. His shoulders did not even tremble, and his expression did not show any signs of discomfort. This made Qin Fei feel surprised. Yang Ming really has some skills. No wonder they value Yang Ming so much. You and Meng Yan prepare some delicious food. Yang Ming and I will drink to celebrate tonight. Qin Fei instructed Mother Qin. It's okay to prepare it for Yang Ming, but it's not okay to give it to you. Mother Qin snorted. It was obvious that she was still angry. Qin Fei didn't care. He pushed Yang Ming to the study room. He closed the door after entering the study room. What they were going to talk about was confidential. Even Chen Mengyan and Mother Qin couldn't know about it. Mother Chen and Chen Mengyan looked at each other and smiled. Little Yen, you're tired too, right? Go and rest. I will prepare some food. Then I will order a few bottles of beer from the supermarket downstairs. Mom, I'm not tired. Chen Mengyan shook her head and rejected Mother Chen's request. I'm not sleepy now. My mental state is good. Oh. You're not sleepy. Mother Chen was stunned. You didn't sleep last night, right? Meitina town is so far away from Songjiang. You have to travel all the way, right? No, the one who drove the boat was Sister Mingxi. After that, the one who drove was Yang Ming. I was resting all the time, so I wasn't tired at all. Chen Mengyan smiled. Sister Mingxi. Are you talking about that Chen Mingxi? Mother Chen's gaze focused. She remembered the girl who was kidnapped together with Chen Mengyan. Previously, because she was worried about Chen Mingyan's safety, she didn't think about the identity of this Chen Mingxi. Now that she had calmed down, Mother Qin had some doubts. Little Yen, tell me the truth. That girl named Chen Mingxi, who is she? Who? It's nothing. She's just a relative of Yang Ming. She doesn't have a household registration in the mountains. Yang Ming helped her to register a household registration here so that she can go to school with me. Chen Mengyan blinked. She didn't say the true origin and identity of Victoria. Faintly, Chen Mengyan felt that these should be secrets. Since Chen Mingxi confessed to her, she couldn't simply tell her to avoid causing unnecessary trouble. Relative. Mother Qin still frowned. Little Yen, don't be fooled by appearances. Why haven't I heard Brother Dehai mention that the Yang family has any relatives in the mountains? This person, is she also Yang Ming's? What? Chen Mengyan was stunned. She looked at her mother puzzledly. You child, why are you so careless? Mother Chen glanced at her daughter helplessly and said with love, I suspect that Chen Mingxi is also related to Yang Ming. Is she also his girlfriend? Ah. Chen Mengyan thought that her mother suspected that there was a problem with Chen Mingxi's identity, but she didn't expect that her mother was worried about this. She didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Mom, you are overthinking. Previously, when he had offended that big hooligan Hussan, he had to leave his hometown and hide in the south. If he were to provoke such a huge family, wouldn't he have to hide on an alien planet? Chen Jia had to give up and stop controlling the company's power. Instead, he became more respectful to Kaik. Before doing anything, he would consult Kaik first. This made Kaik value and trust Chen Jia more. Chen Jia's position also rose again and again. From the initial assistant to the chairman, he had reached the current position of the company's general manager. Although his power was about the same as before, and he was Kaik's absolute confidant, his status had risen. Chen Jia had also become the pride of the Qin family village. He was even more respected than Qin Fei, the bureau chief. He was a billionaire. In such a small village like the Qin family village, such a person had never appeared since ancient times. Originally, Chen Jie also planned to work for Kaik for the rest of his life. Although he couldn't monopolize the power, he could still get a lot of benefits. Besides, he was also above everyone else in the company. His power had also reached the peak. Although he had to consult Kaik for many of his decisions, Kaik only took a look and rarely denied them. Most of the time, Chen Jie's decision was the final decision. Other people in the company also knew about this matter, so their respect for Chen Jie was almost the same as their respect for Kaik. However, things were unpredictable. Although it was rare for a pie to fall from the sky, it happened to Chen Jie. Just a few days ago, Kaik suddenly received a notice from his family that there were some problems at home. He was asked to return to his home abroad immediately. Chen Jie also knew that Kaik was going back to China, but he didn't take it seriously at first. Kaik often went back to China before and came back after a while. Chen Jie was already used to it, so he patted his chest and promised that he would work hard to run the company well during Kaik's absence so that Kaik could rest assured. However, after Kaik heard it, he smiled non-committally and didn't say anything. This made Chen Jie a little nervous. Is Kaik worried about me? Chen Jie tried hard to recall what he had done during this time, but there was nothing excessive. He had always been respectful to Kaik. He only did everything after consulting Kaik. It was impossible for Kaik to see through his ambition. It was not wrong for him to be ambitious in the past, but he had completely given up recently. He didn't show anything in his expression or actions at all. Thinking of this, Chen Jie became more and more nervous. He became more cautious and conscientious every day. He didn't dare to have the slightest disrespect. He knew very well that his current status and power all came from Kaik. Once Kaik took back his power, he would be nothing. Those subordinates respected him because he was the general manager. If he was not the general manager, who would know that he was just an idiot? Just as Chen Jie was feeling uneasy, Kaik suddenly found Chen Jie to talk to him alone. Chen Jie didn't know why Kaik wanted to talk to him before he left. In the past, Kaik had left many times, so he was used to it. He just simply told him a few words. This time, he said that he wanted to talk to him. This made Chen Jie's heart feel uneasy, and he lost his backbone. Mr. Kaik. Chen Jie knocked on the door of Kaik's office. He found that these foreigners didn't like to be called Chairman so-and-so. Instead, they called him Mr. So-and-so. It seemed that this made them feel more like gentlemen. Oh, it's Mr. Chen. Please come in. Kaik heard Chen Jie's voice, raised his head, and motioned for him to push the door and come in. At first, Chen Jie was not used to Kaik calling Chen Jie Mr. Chen. But after a long time, Chen Jie got used to it. Anyway, this was Kaik's habit. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. Mr. Kaik, I'm here. Do you have any orders? Chen Jie carefully pushed the door and walked into Kaik's office, then quietly closed the door again. Sit down. Kaik looked at the cautious Chen Jie with some doubts. What's wrong with you today? You are usually very easygoing. Nothing. I know that Mr. Kaik is going back to China, so I'm going to part with him. I'm not in a good mood. Chen Jie casually found a reason. Oh. You know. Kaik was slightly stunned. He glanced at Chen Jie with some surprise, and said, since you know, I won't say much. You have been with me for so many years. You have been busy. It's been hard on you. It's not hard. When Chen Jie heard Kaik's words, his heart suddenly went thump. Is Kaik really going to fire me? I know in my heart how you treat me. You know in your heart how I treat you. Kaik said, take a look at this document and sign it now. Chapter 1537. Ha! Chen Jie was dumbfounded. He looked at the document handed over by Kaik. He was so stunned that he didn't know how to take it. His mind was blank. Am I really fired just like that? Does Kaik know that I have done some little things behind his back? But that was in the past. I didn't know the family behind Kaik. When I knew the power of the Kaik family, I had no other thoughts. Mr. Chen, what's wrong with you? Kaik looked at Chen Jie inexplicably. No, nothing. Chen Jie quickly collected his thoughts and said pitifully, Mr. Kaik, I have been devoted to you all these years. I am also devoted to the company. Please believe me, Chen Jie cried with snot and tears. It was no wonder. The feeling of falling from the top of the clouds to the ground was uncomfortable. Mr. Chen, of course, I know what you said. That's why I asked you to sign this document. Kaik was even more inexplicable. He thought, is this Chen Jie so moved that he can't be any more? It doesn't seem like it. Ah, then you still want to fire me? Chen Jie was a little confused. In this case, why do you still want to fire me? Who said I want to fire you? Take a look at this document first. Kaik looked at Chen Jie with a dumbfounded expression and pushed the document in front of him. Chen Jie carefully took the document in his hand and read it carefully. At first glance, he was stunned. There was an incredible expression on his face. Mr. Kaik, you want to give me all 41% of the company's shares. It was no wonder that Chen Jie didn't believe it. Kaik had already given him 10% of the shares. The market value was already about 100 million yuan. This time, he gave him 41%. Wouldn't that add up to 500 million yuan? Moreover, the key problem was not this. It was that Chen Jie's own shares added up to 51%. In other words, the person with the most shares in the company was the company's chairman. If he became the chairman, what would Kaik do? Moreover, although the company was not listed, he was not the only one who held shares in the company. Although the others were few, they added up to about 5%. In other words, Kaik only had about 45% of the shares left in his hands. This made Chen Jie extremely confused. What the hell is going on? Is Kaik testing me? When he thought of this possibility, Chen Jie's mind immediately sobered up. It must be so. Otherwise, why would Kaik do such an illogical thing? When Chen Jie thought of this, he quickly and respectfully pushed the document back to Kaik. He said carefully, Mr. Kaik, I am not a greedy person. You have already treated me well. How can I accept these with peace of mind? Ha! After listening to Chen Jie's words, Kaik laughed twice and said, Don't worry, Mr. Chen. Since I want to give you shares, it is not a joke. I have thought it through carefully. As I said before, I know how you have treated me over the years. So, you deserve these shares. But, that's too much. After Chen Jie listened to Kaik's words, he said doubtfully, Mr. Kaik, you know that I already own 10% of the company's shares before. If I add this 41%, it will be more than half of the shares. But you are the company's chairman. Look at the document below. Kaik did not answer Chen Jie's words directly, but motioned him to continue reading the document. Oh. Chen Jie finished reading the share transfer document in his hand, then took out another document below. At first glance, he couldn't help but be shocked. Mr. Kaik, you want me to be the chairman? The second document in Chen Jie's hand was the appointment document for Chen Jie as the chairman. It seems that you are already very confused. Then, I will tell you the truth. Kaik smiled and said, originally, I thought you knew that I was leaving. Now it seems that you don't know. I made a mistake before. I do know that you are going back to China, but what are you referring to? Chen Jie looked at Kaik in confusion. Now, there are some things that I don't have to hide from you. My true identity is actually the second heir of a big family in Europe, Kaik said. Previously, because there was a first heir before me, I had no hope of inheriting the position of the family master in this life. I didn't want to continue to stay in the family and fight with others. So, I came to China with the family's entrepreneurial funding to start a business. With the help of the family's power, the international trade business is doing very well. I originally wanted to stay here for the rest of my life, but I didn't expect that just a few days ago, I received an urgent report from the family. Something big happened to the family. Something big? Chen Jie looked at Kaik in confusion. Yes, it's a big thing. Kaik nodded and said, our family's first heir actually died an unnatural death. As a result, I became the first heir. This time, I was summoned back as the country's master. What? You are going to be the family master? Chen Jie's mind was full of thoughts. He quickly calculated the gains and losses, and figured it out in an instant. It turned out that Kaik was going back to be the family master, so he definitely couldn't personally manage the business in China. So, he handed over the business to his most trusted confidant. Moreover, once Kaik became the family master, he probably couldn't always come to China. Moreover, compared to the position of the family master, this small business was probably nothing to the current Kaik. Thinking of this, Chen Jie quickly congratulated, congratulations, Mr. Kaik, for successfully inheriting the position of the family master. I didn't expect that I would actually become the family master. Kaik was very happy when he said this. After all, he had been living in the shadow of the second heir since childhood. How could Kaik be happy? After being suppressed for many years, he actually inexplicably became the first heir. The gap before and after was too big. It was good enough that he didn't become silly at that time. After knowing all this, Chen Jie was relieved. He smoothly signed 2 documents and completed the handover with Kaik. As for the shares retained by Kaik, Chen Jie didn't think about encroaching. He was even glad that Kaik didn't directly leave all the company's shares to him. Chen Jie was not stupid. Kaik was going back to be the family master this time. Before becoming the family master, Kaik's relationship was enough to make the company's international trade flourish. Now that he was going to be the family master, wouldn't his relationship be even wider? He had always maintained a relationship with Kaik, so he didn't have to worry about not being successful in the future. Although giving all the shares to him seemed to be very cost-effective for a while, it was not a long-term plan after all. After sending Kaik away, Chen Jie suddenly became the company's chairman. There was a saying that went, return home in glory. Chen Jie felt that it was time for him to return to the Qin family village in Songjiang. His achievements were probably the most glorious in the Qin family village. So, Chen Jie did what he thought. He called his elder brother, Chen Jifu, in his hometown and told him that he was going to fly back and treat all the famous people in the Qin family village to a meal. So, after Chen Jifu received a call from his brother, the first thing he did was call Chen Fei. Besides his younger brother, Chen Jie, the person who was doing the best in the Qin family village was Chen Fei, the chief of the Songjiang police station. However, at this special moment, Mother Chen Fangyu, picked up the phone. She was still wondering how Chen Jifu knew about Chen Mingyan's kidnapping. Big cousin. What's the matter? Chen Fangyu asked, puzzled. It's like this. My brother, Chen Jie, is coming back to Songjiang tonight to treat the famous and successful people in our Chen family village. Chen Jifu said, Brother Chen Fei is also one of the successful people in our Chen family village. So, I called you first. Are you free tonight? I see. Only then did Chen Fangyu understand the purpose of Chen Jifu's call. It turned out that it was not because of Chen Mengyan. Chen Fangyu was relieved. After all, this kind of thing was not a good thing, and Chen Fangyu didn't want to make it public. However, Chen Mengyan had just returned. She didn't know if she could participate in this kind of event, so she hesitated. Big cousin, I don't know if our family's old Chen has anything to do tonight. You know the nature of his unit. He works overtime all day. Chapter 1538. I know about this, but my dad and seventh grandfather are coming today. Brother Chen Fei better come too. Chen Jifu said quickly. Although his brother Chen Jie was now worth hundreds of millions, he was only worth tens of millions. Naturally, he was very respectful to Chen Fei. He hoped that Chen Fei could also participate in this Chen family village banquet. I see. Seventh grandfather is coming too. Chen Fangyu was in a bit of a dilemma. Seventh grandfather was the old village chief of the Qin family village. He was also a person of virtue and prestige in the Qin family village. In the past, he was also the old patriarch of the Qin family village. So, if seventh grandfather came, Chen Fangyu and Chen Fei would have to participate. When Chen Fangyu and Chen Fei were young, they received many favors from seventh grandfather because of their parents' early death. They were able to successfully finish college, get married, and have children. Therefore, Chen Fangyu was very grateful to seventh grandfather. When she heard that seventh grandfather was going, Chen Fangyu couldn't refuse. Yeah, when the old man heard that my disappointing brother had finally returned to his hometown in glory, he was very happy. He insisted on joining in the fun, Chen Jifu said proudly. Especially when he was talking about his disappointing younger brother and returning to his hometown in glory, he deliberately emphasized the words. But it was no wonder. Who would not proudly show off to others when their relative had such achievements? Then I will ask my old Chen later. We will try our best to attend. Chen Fangyu hesitated and finally said. If seventh grandfather went, it would be a bit unreasonable for Chen Fangyu and Chen Fei not to go. As for Chen Jifu's father, Chen Fangyu didn't care. Chen Jifu's father, Chen Dai, was the current village chief of Chen family village. He didn't have a deep friendship with Chen Fangyu and Chen Fei. He became the village chief after Chen Fangyu and Chen Fei were admitted to Songjiang University. They didn't have many opportunities to meet over the years. Okay, sister, I will call you later. Chen Jifu smiled and hung up the phone. Chen Jifu sincerely hoped that Chen Fei and his wife would come. Before his younger brother became rich, Chen Fei and his wife were the most promising people in Qin village. Chen Fei was the chief of the Songjiang police station, while Chen Fangyu was a middle-level leader of a large state-owned enterprise. Both of them were considered to be successful in their careers. However, this time, he was much worse than his younger brother. His younger brother, Chen Jie, now owned a large trading company with assets of more than 1 billion. His personal assets were as much as 500 million. Chen Fangyu hung up the phone and shook her head helplessly. This matter had been delayed for a day, but there was no other way. No matter what, she still had to talk to Chen Fei. Otherwise, it wouldn't be good if Master Qi had any ideas. Mom, who's calling? Chen Mengyan felt that her mother's words were a little strange. It didn't sound like an ordinary phone call, so she asked curiously. It was your uncle Jifu who called. Your uncle Jie is coming back tonight and is holding a banquet in Songjiang. Your seventh great-grandfather is also coming. He asked me and your father to attend, Chen Fangyu explained to Chen Mengyan as she went to the kitchen to cook. awe. Chen Mengyan frowned after listening to her mother's words. She remembered Chen Jia's son, Chen Xiaolong. When he was in high school, he pursued her for a while. Later, he transferred to the south. When she thought of Chen Xiaolong's actions, Chen Mengyan felt an unspeakable disgust in her heart. You just got out of danger. Your father and I should be at home with you. But this time, it's really not easy to refuse. Chen Fangyu said to Chen Mengyan, in a while, wait for your father to finish talking to Yang Ming. Then, ask him what to do. Chen Fangyu's previous resentment towards Chen Fei disappeared in the blink of an eye, as if nothing had happened. Chen Mengyan looked at her mother's appearance and shook her head. She thought, I have quarreled with Yang Ming many times. But didn't we reconcile after the quarrel? In the study, Chen Fei lit a cigarette and threw the remaining half of the pack of cigarettes to Yang Ming, indicating that he could get it himself. I'm not smoking anymore. Yang Ming waved his hand. Why? Are you still pretending in front of Uncle Chin? Chen Fei smiled and looked at Yang Ming. I'm not pretending. I've quit. Yang Ming said, Mengyan heard that smoking affects fertility and is not good for children, so I quit. Really? Chen Fei looked at Yang Ming in disbelief. He secretly admired Yang Ming's perseverance. Chen Fei had tried to quit smoking many times, but he still failed in the end. But Yang Ming actually quit smoking. Isn't this too amazing? You can ask Meng Yan in a while. Won't you know if it's true or not? Yang Ming did not explain. He shrugged and said, Okay. Chen Fei made a stop gesture and said, Let's talk about the operation this time. You're really bold. You dared to go to the Black Hawk Gang's headquarters alone. You're not afraid that they'll leave you there. Do you think they don't want to? Yang Ming shook his head and said, however, under absolute pressure, they don't dare to do so. Yang Ming did not lie to Chen Fei. Some things could only be deceived to Chen Mengyan and Mother Qin. There was no need to hide from Chen Fei. Even if he concealed it, he had to tell the truth to Xia Bingbao in the end. Yang Ming did not believe that with Xia Bingbao's power, he could not find out any information. So if Chen Fei knew that he lied to him, it would not be good. At least, Yang Ming felt that Chen Fei was a credible person. Even if he did not have the relationship with Chen Mengyan before, the relationship between the two people was already very harmonious. However, this time, although Yang Ming decided to tell the truth, he did not intend to say it all without reservation. I didn't expect your means to be so tough. You can make the Black Hawk Gang compromise. Chen Fei couldn't help but be moved after listening to Yang Ming's words, but he did not ask further. Chen Fei also knew that this might involve some of Yang Ming's own secrets. It might be the special ability that was valued by the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, so this kind of thing was kept confidential. Chen Fei was also a person in the system. He would not be so insensible and undisciplined to ask questions. Nicholas Shevich, you can rest assured that you will deal with it. Do what you need to do. Yang Ming said. Victor Rajiv also promised that from now on, he will never step into China again. Is that so? Chen Fei was already very surprised because Yang Ming easily brought back Chen Mengyan and Xia Xiaoluo. At this time, he heard that Yang Ming actually made an agreement with the Black Hawk Gang so that they would never set foot in China. This made Chen Fei's expression change dramatically. He looked at Yang Ming incredulously and nodded after a long time. Well done. Don't worry. I won't ask you about the details. I also know your confidentiality system. Some things are not convenient to say, so you don't have to explain. Yang Ming did not expect Chen Fei to say these words first. It saved Yang Ming the time to explain, so he showed an understanding smile. Uncle Chen, this matter ends here. Also, what I said to you today, you should keep it to yourself. Don't tell Xia Shui and Xia Bingbao. Don't worry, I will keep it a secret. Chen Fei looked solemn and quickly promised. The two chatted for a while about school and life. Chen Mingyan's voice came from outside the study. Dad, Yang Ming, the meal is ready. Are you coming out to eat? Coming. Chen Fei shouted outside the door, then stood up and patted Yang Ming's shoulder. Let's go, Yang Ming. Let's go out and eat something. You should be hungry for a long time, right? It's nothing. Yang Ming smiled. But I am a little hungry after hearing what you said. After leaving the study, they came to the dining room. Chen Mengyan and Chen Fangyu had already prepared and were setting up the bowls and chopsticks. When Chen Fangyu saw Chen Fei come out, she said, Old Chen, cousin Jifu called just now. He said that Jia is coming back to Songjiang tonight. He is holding a banquet in Songjiang. He invited the two of us to participate. Oh. Jia is back. Chen Fei was stunned after hearing Chen Fangyu's words. These two brothers have suffered a lot in the past few years. Later, after Hu San was executed, I heard that Jia made a big career in the south. This time, he is probably returning to his hometown in glory, right? Hee, it should be like this. Cousin Jifu also mentioned that he is returning to his hometown in glory a few times. Chen Fangyu didn't care. She and Chen Fei both had successful careers. Their in-law, Yang Dehai, had jumped from a worker to the chairman of a multinational group with a net worth of billions. Their family was not short of money, so she didn't envy Chen Jia and the others. Chapter 1539. Logically speaking, we should go at night. After all, we grew up together and played together. However, there is a special situation at home today. Yang Ming is also here. It's not good to go, right? Chen Fei thought about it and said. I think so too, but cousin Jifu said that seventh grandfather will also come tonight, so it's not good for me to refuse. Chen Fangyu explained with some embarrassment. Seventh grandfather is coming too. Chen Fei didn't speak after listening to Chen Fangyu's words. He hesitated slightly and said, how about this? Let's go at night. It's not good to not go. Mengyan, you stay at home with Yang Ming. Okay. Chen Mingyan's face turned red for no reason. She couldn't help but think of the night when her father had a car accident. Yang Ming stayed with her at home. That was the first time that Chen Mengyan and Yang Ming were alone at home. This time, it would be the second time. But now, the relationship between the two was much closer than before. As they were talking, the phone rang again. Chen Fangyu quickly walked over and picked up the phone. Hello, who are you looking for? Sister, it's me. Your brother Jifu. Chen Jifu's voice came from the phone. How is it? Have you discussed it with brother Chen Fei? I just talked to my old Chen. Old Chen said that since seventh grandfather is here, we naturally have to go too. Chen Fangyu said, what time and where in the evening? At 6:00 in the evening, at the Songjiang International Hotel. The entire 6th floor has been booked by us. You and brother Chen Fei can come directly at that time. If you can't find it, call me again. Chen Jifu said happily when he heard that Chen Fangyu and Chen Fei would come. And, that's good. We will be there on time. Chen Fangyu promised. By the way, don't forget to bring your little Mengyan here. I haven't seen her for a long time. She didn't even come to see me when she was admitted to university. I didn't even give her the meal ticket money. Chen Jifu said with a smile. There was a custom in the Chen family village. That was, whoever's child was admitted to university, the villagers would give the child a gift called meal ticket money. However, Chen Fei had just been promoted to the bureau chief, so it was not appropriate for him to hold a banquet. Otherwise, people would say that he was taking advantage of the opportunity to receive benefits. Therefore, Chen Mingyan's admission to university was not publicized in the Qin family village. However, for a reputable person like Qin Jifu, he would give a meal ticket money to the college students in the Qin family village. If he couldn't give it, he would feel embarrassed. In his opinion, it was an honor and glory for a successful person like him to sponsor the students in the village. Therefore, he must give a meal ticket money to Qin Mengyan when she was admitted to university. Little Yen. Chen Fangyu suddenly hesitated. Chen Mengyan had just returned home from the robbers. Mother Chen didn't want to torment her anymore. However, since Chen Jifu had brought it up, it was difficult to refuse. Seventh grandfather also wants to see the child. Besides, other children of the same age from other families will also go. It will definitely not be lonely if they come together. Chen Jifu said, "It's settled then. Sister, I will call someone else." Okay. Chen Fangyu had to agree helplessly. What's wrong? Chen Fei asked when he saw Chen Fangyu's helpless smile. Cousin Jifu insisted that our little Yen go with him. I can't refuse. Chen Fangyu said with a wry smile, I thought that little Yen had just returned home and was exhausted. She should have a good rest. I didn't expect there to be a meal party. If that's the case, then let's go together. Chen Fei pondered for a moment and said, it just so happens that Yang Ming also comes along. Let seventh grandfather see that our Meng Yan also has a boyfriend. Dad. Chen Mengyan suddenly felt a little embarrassed. A father and son were sitting in the first-class cabin of an Airbus 319 flying to Donghai Airport. They were the father and son, Chen Jiye and Chen Xiaolong, who had returned to Songjiang from the south. Chen Jiye's wife could not bear the hardships when he was away, so she left him and their child behind and eloped with a rich man. Only the father and son were left to depend on each other. Therefore, Chen Jiye loved his son, Chen Xiaolong, very much. After he made a name for himself in the south, he brought his son from Songjiang. However, he heard that his son was a little reluctant because he had to be separated from a female classmate he liked when he transferred schools. At that time, Chen Jiye did not take it seriously. After chatting with his son over the years, he realized that his son had always liked Chen Fei's daughter, Chen Mengyan. He thought that Chen Xiaolong's feelings would fade after a few years, and this matter would be over. Unexpectedly, Chen Xiaolong became excited again when he heard that he was going back to Songjiang. How could Chen Jiye not understand his son's thoughts? However, he did not expect his son to be so infatuated. He was still thinking about a girl after so many years. However, Chen Jiye did not say anything about his son because he felt that his son was very similar to himself. For so many years, although he was rich and had a status, he was still thinking about his ex-wife. He hoped that his ex-wife would change her mind one day. How could he blame his son for being like this? Are you still thinking about Chen Fei's daughter? Chen Jiye glanced at his excited son and asked helplessly. Ah. Chen Xiaolong was stunned. When did I? Really? Then I guessed wrong. I originally planned to ask seventh grandfather to matchmake you two. Since that's the case, then forget it. Don't. Chen Xiaolong was shocked and said quickly, Dad, how did you know? A father knows a son best. Do you think I don't know what you are thinking? Chen Jiye sighed, I really don't know what was in your head before. You only know how to like girls at such a young age. Chen Xiaolong suddenly looked embarrassed and lowered his head. Dad, are you playing with me? Hi, okay, do you think I don't know what you are thinking, kid? Chen Jie said, now that you are in college, you will inherit my career in the future. It's not too early for you to fall in love. Dad will help you this time. Really? Chen Xiaolong was overjoyed after hearing his father's words. Dad, thank you so much. You are so kind. I just called your uncle and asked him to invite Chen Fei's family. I also told him to let Chen Fei bring his daughter. Chen Jie smiled. Are you happy now? Hee hee. Chen Xiaolong grinned. His face was full of smiles when he thought that he could meet his dream lover at night. Looking at his son's happy silly look, Chen Jie shook his head. In his opinion, Chen Fei's daughter was no longer worthy of his son. He was now worth 500 million. His son would definitely inherit his career in the future. At that time, what kind of woman could he not find? Why is he still thinking about a high school classmate? However, after calling his elder brother, Chen Jifu, and hearing that Chen Fei had been promoted to the chief of the Songjiang City Police Department, and that Chen Fangyu was also a middle-level cadre in a state-owned enterprise, he reluctantly felt that they were a good match. He planned to help his son play matchmaker. Of course, although Chen Fei was the chief of the Songjiang City Police Department, Chen Jie didn't think that he would be of much help to him. After all, his career was in the south, not the north. The connections in the north didn't have much support for his career. He wanted to find a girl of equal social status in the south to introduce to his son. However, Chen Jie couldn't do anything about it because of his love for Chen Xiaolong. Since his son liked her, he would follow his son's wishes. Anyway, he had a big backer, Kaik. Kaik would soon become the heir of that big family. As long as Kaik became the family master of that big family, would he still have to worry about not having social connections? When the time comes, find a way to transfer that girl to the south to learn about economics. She can also be of help to your career in the future. Chen Jie thought about it and said, however, she has to be that material. If she is just a flower vase, then I won't agree to let her into our family. Chapter 1540. Yang Ming called home. He had just returned from Europe. He wanted to go home, but he didn't expect to encounter Chen Mingyan's kidnapping. He rushed to Russia and brought Chen Mingyan back. He had told his parents before that he was going to return to China yesterday. However, because of Chen Mingyan's incident, he didn't have time to say hello to his parents. Later, he wanted to call his parents to tell them that he was safe, but it was put on hold because his phone was wet. He planned to have dinner at Chen Mingyan's house in a while, then he would take Chen Mingyan home to visit his parents. However, he didn't expect that Chen Fei would go out for dinner at night and bring him and Chen Mingyan, so Yang Ming called his father first. Hello, how are you? Yang Dehai was in a meeting. When he saw that the phone displayed the phone number of Chen Mingyan's house, he hesitated and picked up the phone. He made a gesture to the others to wait. Although Yang Dehai was the chairman, in order to restrain others, he also took the lead in refusing to answer the phone during the meeting. However, this phone call was from Chen Mingyan's house, so Yang Dehai finally picked it up. Yesterday, Yang Ming was supposed to come back, but when he heard that Yang Ming came back, he went to Russia to save Chen Mingyan. This made Yang Dehai shocked and gratified. He was shocked because Yang Ming's courage was really big. He dared to go to the underworld's nest alone. Wasn't he afraid of losing his life there? However, he was gratified because he felt that although Yang Ming's approach was reckless, it was the behavior of a responsible man. Yang Dehai was a straightforward and decent person. Otherwise, he wouldn't be unhappy with his elder brother, Yang Dashin. Although Yang Dehai had recently become the chairman, and his personality had changed a little. He had become more tactful, but the integrity in his bones hadn't changed. Therefore, he was particularly gratified that Yang Ming could stand up at this time. If Yang Ming didn't care or only sighed anxiously at home, Yang Dahai would feel that he was irresponsible and not like a man. This was also why after the incident with Lin Jiyun, although Yang Ming was a little annoyed, he didn't scold Yang Ming anymore after he knew the truth and Yang Ming was brave enough to take responsibility. No one in the society knew that Chen Mengyan was kidnapped, and Chen Fei didn't want to make a big deal out of it. However, Yang Dahai was the future father-in-law of Chen Mengyan. If something happened to Chen Mengyan, Chen Fei should inform Yang Dahai. Therefore, when Chen Fei suddenly called at this time, Yang Dahai subconsciously thought that it was about Chen Mengyan, so he picked up the phone during the meeting. Even if it wasn't about Chen Mengyan, it should be about Yang Ming. "Dad, it's me." Yang Ming said, "I'm at Mingyan's house." "Yang Ming. What's the matter with you, kid? You're quite bold. Where are you now?" "Oh, you're at Mingyan's house." Yang Dahai heard Yang Ming's voice and was suddenly happy. The worry in his heart was put down. He was so excited that he spoke incoherently. "Yang Ming, are you back or not?" "Dad, you know about it." Yang Ming was shocked and glanced at Chen Fei. He didn't want to tell Yang Dahai about these things, so that he wouldn't worry needlessly. But now, it seemed that he already knew, so there was no need to hide anything. "Of course, I know." Yang Dahai snorted. "You, kid, have your wings hardened now. You don't discuss things with your family. You start to make your own decisions. Well, let's not talk about this first. Are you back or not? How is Mengyan?" "Mengyan is fine. I have brought her back." Yang Ming quickly said with a smile, "Dad, I was afraid that you would be worried. So, I didn't tell you before. I thought that I would tell you when I came back and everything was safe. Afraid that I would be worried. Aren't you making me more worried?" Yang Dahai said, "Have you learned to act first and report later?" Hee hee. Yang Ming could only respond to his father's question with a dry laugh. Although Yang Ming felt that his father's worry was unnecessary, he didn't propose any objections. After all, no matter how old he was always a child in his father's eyes. "You brought Mengyan back." After Yang Dahai finished scolding Yang Ming, he thought of the key point of the whole thing. Yang Ming just said that he brought Chen Mengyan back. How did he bring her back? This matter, let's talk about it later. Yang Ming smiled bitterly and glanced at Chen Fei. Chen Fei also smiled apologetically. He also understood that Yang Ming couldn't tell the truth about some things to Yang Ming. But since Yang Dahai knew about this matter, Yang Ming couldn't not explain it, so it became a troublesome matter. He didn't think so much at the time. Now that he saw Yang Ming in a dilemma, he was a little embarrassed. "Dad, Uncle Chen will take me and Mengyan out to attend a banquet in the evening. I originally planned to take Mengyan home, but I'm afraid I can't. If it's too late tonight, I can only go home tomorrow." Yang Ming put aside the previous topic and said, "Oh. You want to go out at night? Since old Chen wants to take you out, it's naturally okay. But when you go home, you have to tell me in detail. How did you bring Chen Mengyan back?" Yang Dahai was very puzzled in his heart. How did his son do this thing that seemed to be difficult for the police? Chen Fei was also troubled for a long time because of this. In the end, Yang Ming solved it by going there. Although Yang Dahai gradually knew that his son was definitely not an ordinary person, wasn't this too unexpected? "Okay, definitely." Yang Ming quickly promised, but he was thinking about how to explain it to his father. Speaking of it, Yang Ming really didn't want to lie to his father. Ever since he fought with Jean Gang in high school and his bicycle was smashed, Yang Ming had been feeling uncomfortable in his heart since he lied to his parents. Therefore, Yang Ming didn't want to lie to his parents unless it was a last resort. However, he couldn't say anything about the King of Assassins. If he really couldn't do it, he could only choose the identity of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau to talk about it. He thought that his father would believe it. Yang Ming hung up the phone and looked at Qin Fei helplessly. While Qin Mengyan and Qin Fangyu weren't paying attention, he whispered, "Uncle Qin, you can really find trouble for me. Now my dad is asking me a lot. He is a little suspicious of me. I didn't think so much at the beginning." Qin Fei shrugged helplessly. "If you really can't do it, you can selectively tell old brother Yang about the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Anyway, there is no system that must be kept secret from the family. That's the only way." Yang Ming nodded. With Qin Fei's status, he naturally had a special car to commute to work, but there was no need to use the public car to attend this kind of private party. It was not that there were no other cars at home. It would have a bad impact on Qin Fei if someone saw it. Yang Ming's car was parked downstairs, so Qin Fei didn't need to find another car. Beforehand, Yang Ming had asked Victoria to go back to the hotel first. Originally, Yang Ming and Victoria had some things to say, but because of Qin Fei's dinner party, he had to let Victoria leave first. In theory, Victoria was Yang Ming's slave, so Victoria obeyed all of Yang Ming's orders. Only this time, Yang Ming felt that although Victoria did not hesitate to agree to his request, there seemed to be a trace of emotion in it. "Where are we going?" Yang Ming sat in the driver's seat, while Qin Mengyan sat in the passenger seat. Qin Fei and Qin Fangyu sat in the back of the car. Songjiang International Hotel. Qin Fei pursed his lips and glanced at Yang Ming with a smile. "It's your property." Yang Ming listened to Qin Fei's words, and a strange expression appeared on his face. "Uncle Qin wants to be vain in a while. Let's wait and see." Uncle Qin did not speak, but Mother Qin said, "If Qin Jia is not bragging, then it's fine. If he is bragging, we can't let him get it right." "Don't talk nonsense." Qin Fei pulled Qin Fangyu's sleeve and said. "How am I talking nonsense?" Mother Qin snorted and said, "I analyzed it carefully just now. Only then did I understand why cousin Jifu wanted to drag the two of us along. We were the most promising people in the Qin family village before. Now that Qin Jia is back, cousin Qin Jifu naturally wants to use us as a comparison to show off. How can he do this? Aren't we all relatives? It's just a meal together. Why are there so many thoughts?" Qin Fei waved his hand generously, indicating that Qin Fangyu should not make wild guesses. Chapter 1541. After Yang Ming listened to Mother Chen's words, he sneered in his heart. Mother Chen probably guessed it correctly. It should be like this. It's just that Qin Fei is an upright person and doesn't think so much. Yang Ming naturally remembered the class reunion held by Sui Guangqi. In many cases, such gatherings were initiated by successful people from the same village. Most of the initiators had a certain level of achievement. It seemed that they cared about their past relationships and invited their former classmates and friends together. In fact, it was nothing more than to show off their strength. Qin Jia, this name sounds familiar. I seem to have heard of it before. Yang Ming hesitated and asked. After all, this person was an old friend of Qin Fei and Qin Fangyu. It was impolite for Yang Ming to mention it so hastily. Qin Xiaolong's father. Qin Mengyan whispered in Yang Ming's ear. It's him. Yang Ming's face suddenly became gloomy. Yang Ming was not unfamiliar with this name. On the contrary, he was very familiar with it. This Qin Xiaolong was Yang Ming and Qin Mingyan's high school classmate. However, he transferred to the south in the first semester of his second year of high school. However, this person's previous actions made Yang Ming very unhappy. The main reason for this person's transfer was also because of Yang Ming. At first, Chen Xiaolong was really low-key for a while because of his father's matter. But later, because Hu San was defeated and his uncle Chen Jifu also made a name for himself, Chen Xiaolong began to do things unscrupulously. This Chen Xiaolong was one of Qin Mingyan's suitors. However, with the advantage of knowing Qin Mingyan since childhood, he spread rumors in class and school that Qin Mingyan was his childhood sweetheart. He even had a physical relationship with her. He made it sound so convincing that many people who didn't know the truth believed it and treated Qin Mingyan as his girlfriend. At that time, Yang Ming was also one of the victims. He really believed Chen Xiaolong's words and was sad for a while. This was actually one of Chen Xiaolong's methods. He first created a seemingly established fact for everyone. That was, he spread the news and let everyone believe it. At this time, even if Qin Mingyan was unwilling, under the rumors, she might really become his girlfriend over time. This kind of method was actually very common, but Chen Xiaolong used it well. After all, he had the advantage of being born in the Qin family village at the same time as Qin Mingyan. His parents were longtime friends. These things could not be disbelieved by others. If it were a girl who was not determined, she might have compromised. However, Chen Xiaolong's trick failed. Qin Mingyan had never thought about finding a boyfriend during high school, so no matter what Chen Xiaolong did, Qin Mingyan would not easily agree to be his girlfriend even if she liked him, let alone not liking him. This was also the direct reason why Chen Xiaolong's method failed. This kind of method could deceive for a while, but it could not deceive for a lifetime. Over time, flaws would naturally be exposed. A lot of people could see that Chen Xiaolong was just trying to be passionate. Qin Mingyan didn't care about him at all. Not to mention a girlfriend, he wasn't even an ordinary friend. Seeing that this guy actually dared to spread rumors to hurt his dream lover, Yang Ming was naturally unwilling. Yang Ming was a famous bad student in school, so Chen Xiaolong's tragic life began. Yang Ming would find an excuse to beat this guy up every 2 to 3 days. Anyway, Yang Ming never needed a reason to beat people up. Chen Xiaolong could not guess why Yang Ming wanted to beat him. After begging for mercy several times, he could only avoid Yang Ming. Although it was because of Qin Mingyan that he taught Chen Xiaolong a lesson, Yang Ming also knew his own weight. Chen Xiaolong was not worthy of Qin Mingyan. Yang Ming felt that he was not worthy at that time. If he hastily expressed his feelings, it would be even worse. It was better to hide it in the bottom of his heart and vent his anger on Chen Xiaolong by beating him up. On one hand, he continued to fiercely pursue Qin Mingyan, but on the other hand, he had to be on guard against Yang Ming looking for trouble at any time. Chen Xiaolong asked Yang Ming more than once how he had offended him, but Yang Ming was too lazy to tell him, so Chen Xiaolong continued to be beaten up in confusion. Of course, this was only what happened in the first semester of the first year of high school. At the end of the second semester of high school, Chen Xiaolong did something that made Yang Ming extremely angry. After the end of the final exam, Chen Xiaolong blocked Qin Mingyan in a small alley near the school. After a few words with Qin Mingyan seemed to want to reject something. In the end, Chen Xiaolong wanted to forcefully kiss Qin Mingyan. How could Yang Ming tolerate this? Yang Ming was furious at that time, but after hesitating, he let Li Dagong take action while he hid at the side. As a result, Chen Xiaolong was tragically beaten half to death by Li Dagong again. Only Qin Mingyan inexplicably escaped danger. She wanted to thank Li Dagong, but Li Dagong turned and left after beating Qin Mingyan. He did not give Qin Mingyan a chance to speak at all. This made Qin Mingyan feel inexplicably relieved that she was saved, but she also felt a little depressed. Other heroes would try their best to attract the attention and favor of the beauty when they saved the beauty. This person was different. After beating up Chen Xiaolong, he turned around and left. What kind of person is this? However, Chen Mengyan was not a love-struck fool. Naturally, she would not like Li Dagong because of this incident. She only paid a little attention to this person in the following days. After asking around, she suddenly found out that Li Dagong was also a well-known delinquent student in the school. He was the underling of Yang Ming, the fighting king in her class. After knowing that Li Dagong was Yang Ming's underling, Chen Mengyan was a little surprised, but this matter quickly faded with the arrival of the summer vacation. Yang Ming, after knowing that Chen Mengyan actually inquired about Li Dagong after the incident, suddenly regretted that he did not stand up for her. It had to be said that at that time, although Yang Ming seemed to be very powerful in school, he still had some cowardice and inferiority in his bones. The impact of Suya's incident made Yang Ming's heart not so easy to untie. However, Yang Ming did not regret it. He knew that even if he saved the beauty, Chen Mengyan would at most be a little grateful to him. She would not have any other inappropriate actions, and she would not become his girlfriend. So, he might as well do a good deed without leaving his name. After 3 years of high school, after graduation, everyone would go their separate ways. The past would also disappear with the wind. On the other hand, the unlucky Chen Xiaolong, although he was madly in love with Chen Mengyan and was reluctant to leave, after inexplicably provoking the school's #1 ruthless person, Yang Ming, he actually provoked the second ruthless person, Li Dagong. His days would not be good in the future. This made Chen Xiaolong suddenly think of the miserable situation when his father was forced to leave by Husan. Although Yang Ming and Li Dagong were not as ruthless as Husan, who could stand being beaten up every day. So, Chen Xiaolong simply gritted his teeth and transferred to the south. After this, as this person disappeared from Yang Ming's sight, Yang Ming also gradually forgot about this person's existence. However, at this time, Chen Mengyan mentioned this person again, which made Yang Ming's face suddenly become ugly. Tonight, he's going to. Yang Ming took a deep breath and tried to control his emotions. He didn't know why, but after Chen Mengyan mentioned this name, Yang Ming's body, which had been suppressed and calm, began to jump again, making Yang Ming once again have the impulsive and hot-blooded pleasure of a little gangster's fight. Should be. Chen Mengyan also hated this person and frowned. Chapter 1542. Hee, I haven't beaten him for a long time. I kind of missed the feeling of that time. Yang Ming's face showed a wicked smile. Thinking of the past, he felt a little fascinated and nostalgic. Beat him. Chen Mengyan was slightly stunned. She suddenly remembered that Yang Ming did beat Chen Xiaolong up for no reason. She didn't feel anything at first. Later, this matter gradually faded away. Now that she heard Yang Ming mention it, she seemed to realize something. I remember. You were looking for trouble with him every day. Was it because, Chen Mengyan originally wanted to say, because of me, but her parents were sitting behind. Although Chen Mengyan knew that her voice might not be heard by her parents, she was still a little embarrassed. Her face turned red, and the words that were about to come out of her mouth stopped. She believed that Yang Ming could understand what she meant even if she didn't say it completely. Sure enough, Yang Ming smiled and said, "Of course, it was because of you. That guy spread rumors that he seriously injured my dream lover. Of course, I won't let him have it easy. But you can't just beat people up." Chen Mengyan rolled her eyes at Yang Ming, but she was not angry. Although she didn't like Yang Ming to use violence casually, Chen Xiaolong's behavior at that time was too abhorrent. So, when Yang Ming beat Chen Xiaolong, Chen Mengyan felt that she had vented her anger. He was like this even after I beat him up. If I didn't beat him up, he would have gone up to the roof to tear the tiles off. Yang Ming smiled. However, I guess that he may not know why I beat him up until he transfers to another school. Chen Mengyan couldn't help but laugh after listening to Yang Ming's words. Even I don't know why you beat him up. How would he know? But why didn't you show anything at that time? At that time, the gap between you and me was too big. Even if I expressed my feelings, I probably wouldn't end up any better than Chen Xiaolong. Even Wang Jitao was rejected. Naturally, I wouldn't dare to casually try to confess, Yang Ming said matter-of-factly. Chen Mengyan didn't expect Yang Ming to be so straightforward. She blushed. So you're not far behind now. Now. Yang Ming laughed. To be honest, Yang Ming's wonderful life came entirely from that pair of magical glasses that could see through things. Although the glasses could only provide him with certain conveniences and a golden finger in life, it increased Yang Ming's self-confidence to an unprecedented peak. This was also the reason why Yang Ming was determined to pursue Chen Mengyan. Otherwise, if he didn't get this pair of glasses, Yang Ming would probably be walking on another path now. He would be mediocre and go to a third-rate private university or technical school, or he would have gone out to work. Everything would change. His parents would be laid off, and he would fail the college entrance examination. Where would Lin Jiyun be? Chen Mengyan was a very principled person, but since the two of them watched a movie, they had an inexplicable relationship. Yang Ming knew this in his heart, and so did Chen Mengyan. It was just that no one pointed it out. It seems that I am quite lucky that you didn't insist on your principles. Otherwise, I would be in a tragedy. Yang Ming shrugged and said with some luck. Humph. Chen Mengyan snorted and didn't answer. Yang Ming's words were really difficult to answer. Right, that time, Li Dagong suddenly appeared. What happened? Li Dagong. Yang Ming was slightly stunned. He remembered what Chen Mengyan was referring to by Li Dagong. What happened to Li Dagong? When Li Dagong's matter was mentioned, Yang Ming blushed a little. Wasn't I a little too cowardly at that time? I obviously had the opportunity to be a hero saving the beauty, but I didn't dare to show it. Therefore, Yang Ming was not willing to let Chen Mengyan know the truth of the shame. Don't say that you don't know. Li Dagong and I don't know each other, and he has no grievances with Chen Xiaolong. Why did he come to beat up Chen Xiaolong when I was being bullied, and then turn around and leave after that? Ugh. You even found out. Seeing that Chen Mengyan had guessed the general idea of the matter, he didn't hide anything. That was my order. Sure enough. Chen Mengyan nodded thoughtfully. Thinking back, Li Dagong was Yang Ming's follower. If it was Yang Ming who ordered it, then it would make sense. Otherwise, there was only one possibility, which was that Li Dagong suddenly beat up Chen Xiaolong for no reason. Yang Ming was a little guilty. Seeing Chen Mengyan's thoughtful expression, Yang Ming thought that Chen Mengyan had guessed the reason. He had to brace himself and explain, at that time, I was afraid that if I showed that I liked you, you would feel conflicted in your heart. It would be difficult to get close to you, so I let Li Dagong do it. Ah. After listening to Yang Ming's explanation, Chen Mengyan was stunned. Then, she looked at Yang Ming with a strange expression. I didn't ask you this, but you confessed first. Chapter 1543. Ah. Yang Ming was also stunned. Didn't you already guess it before? Chen Mengyan couldn't help but smile. What did I guess? I'm not as complicated as you think. You are the one who confessed to me. In this regard, Yang Ming could only smile bitterly. It seemed that he was really superfluous. The car slowly drove into the parking lot of the Songjiang International Hotel. After the renovation, the Songjiang International Hotel was almost full every day. Every time it was mealtime, the parking lot was full of cars. There was even a trend of not enough. Last month, Bao Somley had just applied for approval for the construction of the underground parking lot. It would start at the end of the month. The popularity here was beyond Yang Ming's expectation. Although the level of Wang Shifan's management wasn't low, it wasn't as prosperous as it was now. Yang Ming's car was too eye-catching. The security guards in the parking lot of the International Hotel didn't recognize it. When they saw Yang Ming's car, the security captain, Little Wang, ran directly to the side of Yang Ming's car. When he saw that the driver was Yang Ming, he smiled and said, "Mr. Yang, the parking lot is full. Can you park in the internal parking lot in front?" Yang Ming looked at the congested parking lot in front. He glanced at Qin Mengyan, Qin Fei, and the others. "Let's get off here. Let Little Wang park the car." Qin Fei and Qin Fangyu also saw the congestion in front. Even if they went to the internal parking lot, they had to pass through the external parking lot to enter. They couldn't enter in a short time, so when they heard Yang Ming's words, they nodded and got off the car. Yang Ming let Little Wang get in the car. Little Wang was very excited. Yang Ming came here last time and asked for his surname, so he remembered it. Little Wang was excited that Yang Ming could still call out his surname. He happily got in the car and said, "Mr. Yang, where should I send the car key later?" "Just leave it in your hand. You can give it to me when I finish eating." Yang Ming thought about it and said, "There would definitely be a lot of people going up to eat later. It would be difficult for Xiao Wang to find him." Yang Ming also gave the key to Xiao Wang without worry. "Okay. Don't worry, Mr. Yang. If I'm not at the door, you can find any of the security guards and ask them to call me through the walkie-talkie." Little Wang was very happy with Yang Ming's trust. Yang Ming and the others got out of the car and walked through the parking lot towards the hotel. Before they had taken 2 steps, they saw a stout middle-aged man yelling at a parking lot security guard. Yang Ming and the others didn't care, but Qin Mengyan had sharp eyes. After glancing at the middle-aged man, she said to Qin Fei with some doubts, "Dad, do you think that person is Uncle Jifu?" Although there were lights in the parking lot, it was hard to see the person opposite if one did not pay attention. Qin Fei did not pay attention before. When he heard Qin Mingyan's reminder, he looked over. That person was indeed Qin Jifu. "Where's your captain? Go find him. We came here to spend money. Why did you ask me to park my car on the side of the road?" Qin Jifu pointed at the little security guard and scolded him, "My car is a Mercedes-Benz. What if it gets scratched on the side of the road? Will you pay for it?" "This. Sir, you also saw the parking lot. There is no parking space. We can't do anything about it." The security guard was scolded until his face turned green. He carefully apologized, "Our boss has applied to build an underground parking lot. It should be ready for use in the second half of the year." "Second half of the year? Do you mean that I have to wait until the second half of the year to eat?" Qin Jifu glared and yelled at the security guard. "No, sir." The security guard was shocked and quickly explained, "Now the parking lot is limited in size. Those who come first have parking spaces, and those who come later can only park on the side of the road." "Bullshit. Do you know who I am?" Qin Jifu patted his car door and said, "Do you know who booked the entire 6th floor of your hotel tonight?" The security guard smiled bitterly and didn't know what to say. He couldn't say that he knew, but he couldn't say that he didn't know either. "Today, my brother came back from the south. I booked the entire 6th floor of your hotel. You can't even get a parking space. Someone from our village will come in a while. Now, go find your captain. I'll give you 1 minute. Ask him to give me a parking space. Look at that broken bun over there. You let him park here too. And that broken Jeep. The driving school doesn't even use that car anymore. You still let him park here. Their cars are not afraid of scratches. You let them park their cars on the side of the road. Chen Jifu pointed to the few worn-out cars around him and instructed the security guard. This. Sir, aren't you making things difficult for us? Those who come here are all guests. They came first. We have no reason to let them leave, right? The security guard said awkwardly. Chen Fei frowned. He couldn't stand it anymore. This Chen Jifu is making things difficult for a little security guard here. What kind of ability is this? He walked over quickly. Jifu. Chen Jifu was still venting his anger when he suddenly heard someone calling his name. He was slightly stunned. When he turned his head, he saw that it was Chen Fei. He immediately suppressed his anger and turned it into a smile. Chen Fei, your family is here first. Why are you here first? Wait for me, I'll take you up. Chen Jifu understood that although Chen Jiye was rich, he was still his younger brother, not himself. So, he didn't dare to be too careless when it came to Chen Fei. What's the matter? Chen Fei nodded, glanced at the little security guard, and asked Chen Jifu. It's all because of this little security guard. He made me so angry. Brother Chen Fei, since you are here, you can call their boss and ask him to solve my parking space. Chen Jifu saw Chen Fei as if he had seen his savior, that motherfucker. He's just a little security guard in a hotel. Look at how arrogant he is. I think the hotel owner needs to be taught a lesson. Brother Chen Fei, if this matter isn't solved, you can find a reason to teach them a lesson. I don't believe that there are no dirty things in any hotel. Chen Fei was slightly stunned after hearing Chen Jifu's words. He knew what Chen Jifu was talking about. It was nothing more than a surprise inspection to see if there were any pornography in the hotel, but in this hotel, there really wasn't. Chen Fei glanced at Yang Ming strangely. The owner of this hotel is Yang Ming. Let Chen Fei teach Yang Ming a lesson? Yang Ming shrugged innocently and looked at Chen Fei with a smile on his face. Jifu, this hotel is the property of a security company affiliated with our bureau. I can't say anything. Just park the car on the side of the road and let the security guard take care of it for you. There won't be any problems, Chen Fei coughed and explained. Ah. Chen Jifu was stunned after listening to Chen Fei's explanation. He didn't expect this hotel to have such a background. He originally thought that this was just an ordinary private hotel. Chen Jifu was not stupid. Chen Fei had already said so. If he continued to make trouble, he would not be giving Chen Fei face. Chen Fei was here to attend his brother's banquet. Chen Jifu didn't want him to turn around and leave because of such a small matter. Since Chen Fei had spoken, Chen Jifu no longer insisted. He threw the car keys to the little security guard and smiled. You see, we are all family. The flood has washed over the Dragon King's temple. I was a little angry before. Little brother, don't take it to heart. After parking the car, just send me the keys to the 6th floor. The little security guard was relieved after hearing Chen Jifu's words. Why would he take it to heart? This kind of thing was very common. He glanced at Chen Fei gratefully, took the keys, and said to Chen Jifu, Okay, sir. Don't worry. There won't be a problem with parking the car on the side of the road. I will ask the people over there to take care of it carefully. You're welcome. Chen Jifu waved his hand. He could be pretentious in front of the little security guard. If he continued to be pretentious when Chen Fei was here, it would be a little degrading. So, he pretended to be generous and ignored the little security guard. He turned to look at Chen Fangyu and said enthusiastically, Sister Little Yu, I haven't seen you for a few years. You are still so young. Hee hee, what young? My daughter is 20 years old. I am already an old lady. Chen Fangyu smiled. Although she knew that Chen Jifu was being polite, she was still very happy. Yeah, Meng Yan is so old in the blink of an eye. Chen Jifu turned to look at Chen Mengyan. He took out a prepared red envelope from his pocket and handed it to Chen Mengyan. Mengyan, Uncle Jifu gave you the meal ticket money. This. Chen Mengyan glanced at her parents with some embarrassment. She had a bad impression of Chen Xiaolong. Her impression of Chen Jie was also not so good. Especially after seeing the scene just now, she felt that Chen Jifu was a vulgar nouveau riche, so she was even more unwilling to accept his things. Chapter 1544. Uncle Jifu is giving it to you. Just take it. Chen Fangyu had heard Chen Mengyan mention this matter on the phone before, so she didn't let Chen Mengyan refuse at this moment. Thank you, Uncle Jifu. Since her mother said so, Chen Mengyan had to take the red packet handed over by Chen Jifu. It was heavy in her hand. She didn't know how much money was in it. Chen Mengyan couldn't open it on the spot. She knew that there must be a lot of money in it. She didn't want to owe this favor, but it was even more inappropriate to return it at this moment. She had to keep it in her bag. When Chen Mengyan took the red packet, Yang Ming glanced at it with his special ability and frowned immediately. There was at least 10,000 yuan in this red packet. It was a thick stack. Yang Ming didn't believe that Chen Jifu gave so much meal ticket money to every child who went to school. This 10,000 yuan was enough to spend for more than a year on food. If it was a frugal student who only ate in the school cafeteria, it would be enough for 4 years of university meal ticket money. Although Chen Jifu was a distant relative of Chen Mengyan, he was not a real relative after all. What did he mean by giving so much money at this time? Yang Ming didn't quite believe that it was a bribe for Chen Fei. Since Chen Jifu grew up with Chen Fei, it was impossible for him not to know what kind of person Chen Fei was. How could he bribe Chen Fei? Moreover, for a person like Chen Fei, even if he didn't get any benefits, they were all relatives. He would still help them. So in this way, there was a hint of abnormality in this matter. There was only one possibility left. That was, Chen Jifu's money was originally for Chen Mengyan. He also wanted to give it to Chen Mengyan. As for the reason, Yang Ming couldn't figure it out for the time being. If it was because of Chen Xiaolong, Yang Ming didn't quite believe it. It had been almost 4 years. Was Chen Xiaolong still infatuated? But in any case, although such a large amount of red packet was not worth mentioning in Yang Ming's eyes, it was enough to sentence him if it was 5,000 yuan. Who knew what Chen Jifu was thinking? Did he have good intentions? Would it bring any trouble to Chen Fei? Thinking of this, Yang Ming directly reached out and stopped Chen Mengyan from putting the red packet into her bag. He took the red packet in his hand and pushed it back to Chen Jifu. Uncle Jifu, this amount of money is too big. How is this meal ticket money? We can't accept this. Chen Jifu had seen Yang Ming before, but he didn't care. He thought that Yang Ming was Chen Fei or Chen Fangyu's driver. For people like Chen Fei or Chen Fangyu, it was not unusual for a driver to follow them when they went out. Therefore, even if they saw Yang Ming, they would never think that Yang Ming was Chen Mengyan's boyfriend. However, when Yang Ming suddenly spoke at this time, Chen Jifu immediately realized that he had mistaken Yang Ming's identity. This person's identity should not be Chen Fei's or Chen Fangyu's driver. But even so, Chen Jifu's face still fell. In his opinion, even if Yang Ming was Chen Fei's relative or nephew, he spoke first before the adult spoke. This was simply uneducated and rude. So Chen Jifu glanced at Yang Ming coldly and snorted, "This red packet is for Chen Mengyan, not for you. Brother Chen Fei, whose child is this? Why is he so rude?" Chen Fei did not expect that Yang Ming would suddenly stop Chen Mengyan from receiving the red packet. He was a little embarrassed. However, with his understanding of Yang Ming was definitely not the kind of person who would make trouble out of nothing. He must have his purpose and deep meaning. At this time, he was in a dilemma and did not know what to say. I am Chen Mingyan's boyfriend. Yang Ming didn't want to make things difficult for Chen Fei, so he simply introduced himself. I'm not rude, but there is at least 10,000 yuan in your red packet. Is this still the meal ticket money? If it was 1,000 or 2,000, it would be acceptable. But isn't this too much? How do you know? Chen Jifu's expression froze. He did not expect Yang Ming to directly say the amount in the red packet. As a matter of fact, he had racked his brains in order to give this 10,000 yuan to Chen Mengyan. He deliberately found a gift shop to buy a small gift box and made a packaging for the red packet. This way, even if Chen Mengyan had doubts in her hands, she would not think that there was so much money in the gift box. This was because from the outside of the gift box, it was just a small gift box. The amount of money could not be seen. Uncle Jifu, although you wrapped a gift box, how heavy can the gift box be? You can know with a little estimation. Yang Ming said faintly, otherwise, why don't you open it and take a look? Chen Jifu was angry in his heart. He glared at Yang Ming with resentment. He did not expect Chen Mengyan to have a boyfriend. She was only in her first year of college, right? Previously, his younger brother, Chen Jia, called and said that his nephew, Chen Xiaolong, liked Chen Fei's daughter, Chen Mengyan. He asked him to prepare first. Chen Jifu did not understand why Chen Xiaolong liked Chen Mengyan. Even if they were classmates, they had not seen each other for a few years. How could there be any feelings and thoughts? But since his younger brother had said so, Chen Jifu could only help. In his opinion, although Chen Fei was the bureau chief, his position was not lifelong. After retirement, he was no different from an ordinary person. His younger brother was a billionaire. Chen Xiaolong would inherit his business in the future. In this way, Chen Mengyan could be considered to be climbing up the social ladder with his nephew, Chen Xiaolong. Chen Jifu objected, but since his younger brother had nodded, what else could he do? He just had to do his best. Therefore, Chen Jifu tried every means to let Chen Fei bring Chen Mengyan to the banquet in the evening. He also prepared 10,000 yuan for the meal ticket. It was considered to be for his niece-in-law, so it was not a big deal. In Chen Jifu's opinion, which woman did not love money? He could show his financial resources in front of Chen Mengyan. When the time came, his nephew could save a lot of effort in pursuing her. That was why Chen Jifu was so generous. Otherwise, if it were an ordinary child from the Chen family village, Chen Jifu would at most give 1,000 yuan as a token. How could he give so much? If he was not afraid that Chen Mengyan would not dare to accept so much, he wanted to give 50,000 yuan directly. He wanted to use money to knock Chen Mengyan out so that his nephew could get the beauty that night. However, there was a sudden change in his beautiful plan. In his plan, Chen Mengyan was single. How did a boyfriend appear out of nowhere? It was not that Chen Jifu felt that Chen Mengyan should not have a boyfriend. He felt that even if she had a boyfriend, she had just met him in college. It was impossible to bring him to such a family gathering, right? At that time, under the attack of his and his nephew's money, he was not afraid that Chen Mengyan would not have a change of heart. What was a college boyfriend? It was just that he did not expect that Chen Mengyan would bring her boyfriend along. It seemed that he had already met Chen Fei and Chen Fangyu. The two had also tacitly agreed to their relationship, and they seemed to be very harmonious. This made Chen Jifu somewhat unsure of what to do for a while. Chen Fei's upbringing should be very strict. How could he allow Chen Mengyan to have a boyfriend so early? However, even if he had other thoughts, he couldn't say it directly at this moment. Since Yang Ming could appear here with Qin Fei and Qin Fangyu, it meant that Qin Fei and Qin Fangyu had already acknowledged Yang Ming's identity. It would be a bit wrong for him to make irresponsible remarks here. Why did you give the child so much money? Qin Fei was shocked when he heard that there were tens of thousands of yuan in the red packet. He quickly said, Zhifu, this is a bit too much. Even if you give a meal ticket money, it would be at most 1 or 2,000 yuan. Why would a child need so much money? The reason why Qin Zhifu made a gift box to put the red packet in before was that he was afraid that Qin Fei would reject it directly with so much money in a red packet. Now that Yang Ming, this little brat, had pointed it out, he couldn't continue to give it out. He was extremely angry in his heart, but he could only continue to smile and say, I was just thinking, are we all relatives? Since it's too much, then 1,000 will do. As Qin Zhifu spoke, he took out his wallet from his pocket, counted out 1,000 yuan, and handed it to Qin Mengyan. Here, is this enough? Qin Mengyan hesitated, took the money, and said, thank you, before keeping it in her bag. Qin Zhifu casually threw the previous red packet into his bag. He glared at Yang Ming bitterly. He thought to himself, I really have to think of a reason to humiliate you, little brat, so that you will know how to back off. Chapter 1545. However, before that, he had to figure out the background of this little brat first. Qin Zhifu was not a reckless person. He looked like a nouveau riche, but in fact, he was a very shrewd person. Otherwise, he would not have been able to run the agricultural products company so well in just a few years. Qin Zhiye's investment was one of the reasons. There were many people who had the ability to attract investment, but not many were really successful. This proved that Qin Zhifu was a smart person. Just like how he could quickly change his attitude after learning that the Songjiang International Hotel was actually an affiliated company under Qin Fei. This also showed that Qin Zhifu was a person who was good at changing the rudder according to the wind. Therefore, Qin Zhifu felt that since Yang Ming could become Qin Fei's son-in-law and get the approval of Qin Fei and Qin Fangyu, it meant that Yang Ming's family background was definitely not ordinary. At the very least, they had to be well matched. Otherwise, with the dignity of bureau chief Qin Fei, it was impossible for him to let his daughter marry an ordinary boyfriend. Because of this idea, Qin Zhifu did not act rashly and turn hostile on the spot. He had to investigate Yang Ming's background first before making a decision. Even if they wanted to find trouble with Yang Ming, it would be Qin Zhiye and Qin Xiaolong. He did not need to be the bad guy who offended Qin Fei. Therefore, it would be better to leave the confrontation between Qin Xiaolong and Yang Ming later. In Qin Zhifu's opinion, even if Yang Ming's family background was good, there was still a big gap compared to his nephew Qin Xiaolong. At that time, this kid would probably still withdraw in shame. Let's go. Let's go together. Qin Zhifu suppressed the anger in his heart and said to Qin Fei and Qin Fangyu. He did not look at Yang Ming again. Qin Fei also saw that Qin Zhifu was not happy, but he thought that it was because Qin Mengyan did not accept the big red packet. He could not think of other reasons, so he did not mind. After all, 10,000 yuan for a child's meal ticket was indeed a little too much. Even though Yang Ming's refusal was a little disrespectful to Qin Mengyan, Qin Fei felt that Yang Ming did nothing wrong. If he knew that there was nearly 10,000 yuan in the red packet, he would also ask Qin Mengyan to refuse. It was really not a good thing to accept this money. Qin Fei didn't know that Qin Zhifu was pleasing Qin Mengyan for Qin Xiaolong. He felt that Qin Zhifu was giving this money to him, so Qin Fei couldn't accept it. On the contrary, he was very glad that Yang Ming discovered this in time and stopped it. Otherwise, if he received the money and found it at home, he could neither keep it nor return it. Chen Jifu took 2 steps forward. The more he thought about it, the angrier he got. He scolded Yang Ming, this little bastard, 10,000 times in his heart. He felt that there was a nameless fire that could not be vented. It made him very unhappy, as if he was about to explode. After taking 2 more steps, Chen Jifu couldn't hold it in anymore. When had he been ordered around by a junior? He thought about it again. Although he couldn't deal with Yang Ming directly, he could take a step back and make things difficult for him in other ways. Soon, Chen Jifu came up with an idea in his heart. He was also the kind of person who was full of bad ideas, so he didn't have to think much. The bad idea directly came to his mind. Right, Brother Chen Fei, this gathering is our Chen family village's gathering. We don't bring outsiders. This kid is not from the Chen family village. Chen Jifu thought, I can't mess with you in front of you, but I have to do something behind your back. You can be cocky in front of me. Can't I just not let you attend the banquet tonight? I don't care if you are Chen Mingyan's boyfriend. As long as you are not there, my nephew, Chen Xiaolong, will have a chance. Chen Jifu's words made Chen Fei suddenly stunned. Although he didn't think of the deeper meaning of Chen Jifu's words, he probably knew that Yang Ming's previous actions must have offended Chen Jifu. Chen Jifu lost face. Since he was there, he couldn't scold Yang Ming. So, he thought of such a trick to make things difficult for Yang Ming. Thinking of this, Chen Fei couldn't help but smile bitterly. He had to say, Brother Jifu, this Yang Ming is not an outsider. He is Mingyan's boyfriend. He spoke without thinking before. Don't lower yourself to the same level as a child. Although Yang Ming might not be willing to attend this gathering, Chen Fei couldn't just let Yang Ming leave like this. Even if Yang Ming agreed, he couldn't face Yang Ming in the future. Brother Chen Fei, what are you talking about? What happened before is in the past. Why are you still mentioning him? Chen Jifu smiled and said, I'm just saying what my brother meant. Jie specifically said before that this is an internal gathering of our Chen family village. There are no outsiders. Otherwise, with Jie's identity, maybe the mayor of Songjiang City will come to the banquet. This. Chen Fei didn't know what to say because of Chen Jifu's words. Although he understood in his heart that Chen Jifu was still angry with Yang Ming because of the previous incident, Chen Fei couldn't do anything since Chen Jifu didn't admit it. Moreover, the other party's current reason was dignified and irrefutable. Dad, Mom, since this is the case, then I will go back with Yang Ming first. When you are done, we will pick you up again. How about it? Chen Mengyan was not very willing to come here. When she heard that Chen Jifu insisted on letting Yang Ming leave, she was even more annoyed. She simply didn't want to participate and planned to leave with Yang Ming. Chen Mingyan's words made Chen Jifu's heart tighten and he was shocked. At this time, he couldn't let Chen Mengyan leave. It must be known that inviting Chen Mengyan to the banquet was specifically instructed by his brother, Chen Jie. With such a special instruction, if he, as the elder brother, didn't do it well, wouldn't it seem too incompetent? Moreover, Chen Xiaolong would resent his uncle for not knowing how to do things. So since this was the case, then this Yang Ming would reluctantly let him attend the banquet. At that time, Chen Xiaolong would be forced to leave with shame. Why should he do this? Mengyan, what are you doing? Chen Jifu said with a smile, I'm just joking. Since Yang Ming is your boyfriend, he is considered half a member of our Chen family village. In that case, let's go together. Let's go together. Haha. Okay, Mengyan, you see, Uncle Jifu is joking. Let's go. Chen Fei quickly mediated and was relieved. Although Chen Fei was usually very dignified as the bureau chief, he was really helpless in front of these relatives. Especially since Chen Jifu was also a capable person, it was even more difficult to say anything. Since he took the initiative to compromise, Chen Fei also went with the flow. Oh. Chen Mengyan followed reluctantly. Yang Ming, who was at the side, frowned again. Previously, he felt that Chen Jifu seemed to have an ulterior motive for Chen Mengyan. It could be seen from the red packet incident. The scene just now was even more obvious. After he offended Chen Jifu deliberately did not want him to attend the banquet. When Chen Mengyan expressed that she would not attend, Chen Jifu immediately changed his attitude and directly compromised. What did this mean? At least it proved that Chen Jifu wanted Chen Mengyan to attend the banquet. He even did not hesitate to let him go with her. Although there may be an element of politeness in this, if Chen Mengyan also left, then Chen Fei might turn hostile on the spot. After all, it was barely acceptable to let Yang Ming leave because of Chen Jia's excuse. However, if Chen Mengyan also left, what would Chen Fei think? Chen Fei would probably turn around and leave, right? It was fine if he did not attend this banquet. Of course, Yang Ming keenly felt that there must be another meaning in this. Chen Jifu is hostile to me. Is it just because I stopped him from giving the red packet? Or is there another reason? Is it really because of Chen Xiaolong? Yang Ming was a little confused. Chapter 1546. If it were Yang Ming with his temper, he might have pulled Chen Mengyan away and left. He would not give Chen Jifu any face at all. What was he in Yang Ming's eyes? What qualifications did he have to point fingers? Did he really think that he could be high and mighty in front of everyone because he had a billionaire brother? Not to mention him, even if his brother, Chen Jia, came in person, Yang Ming would still ignore him. More than 1 or 2 billionaires had fallen in his hands. From the beginning, Wang Shifan, the drug lord Dorsk, the Ouyang family, to General Howden and the Lancer family, all of them were wealthy people. But what was the result? Moreover, Yang Ming was not weaker than Chen Jia in terms of wealth, so there was no need to give him any face. But now that Chen Fei was here, Yang Ming could not give face to Chen Jifu, but leaving with Chen Mengyan was not giving face to Chen Fei. Whether Chen Fei was Chen Mengyan's father or not, he was a person whom Yang Ming admired from beginning to end. Even if there was no relationship with Chen Mengyan, Yang Ming still remembered his initial acquaintance with Chen Fei and Chen Fei's help to him. How could Yang Ming not give face to Chen Fei in public? He sighed secretly and followed Chen Mengyan to the entrance of the hotel with Chen Jifu and others. Yang Ming lowered his head, afraid that the lobby manager would recognize him. With Chen Jifu, a person with ulterior motives, Yang Ming had to be on guard. Who knew what Chen Jifu would do later, so he could not reveal his identity first and let Chen Jifu be prepared. In Yang Ming's opinion, Chen Jifu must have a motive for doing so many things. He also tried to drive him away. His intentions and purpose were even more strange. Yang Ming would not be stupid enough to reveal his details. However, even if Yang Ming had already lowered his head, how could the hotel lobby manager not recognize Yang Ming? Normally, it would be fine if he didn't pay attention. But today, the security captain, Little Wang, had specially used the walkie-talkie to inform him that Yang Ming was coming. How could the lobby manager not be prepared and pay extra attention? Seeing Yang Ming enter, the lobby manager smiled and walked towards Yang Ming. Yang Ming felt a chill in his heart. He thought to himself, this lobby manager's eyes are too crafty. Did he just call out his own people? Yang Ming was a little helpless, but he couldn't scold him. He could only give the lobby manager a look, indicating that he shouldn't come over and not reveal his identity. How astute was the lobby manager? When he saw the look in Yang Ming's eyes, he immediately realized something. In the past, there had been a similar situation. When it was inconvenient for Yang Ming to reveal his identity, he would give the lobby manager a look. So, the lobby manager immediately understood Yang Ming's meaning. However, since he had already walked over, it would be too abrupt if he stopped. Just as he was in a dilemma, the lobby manager suddenly saw Chen Jifu and Chen Fei beside Yang Ming, and suddenly showed a smile again. Chief Chen, President Chen, both of you are here together. Your presence brings light to our hotel. The lobby manager walked in front of the two people with a smile, but he didn't look at Yang Ming anymore. The previous enthusiasm seemed to be completely directed at these two people. President Liu, isn't this our Chen family village's gathering today? Brother Chen Fei is also from our Chen family village. You still don't know, right? Chen Jifu cleverly pointed out his relationship with Chen Fei. When he knew that this was the unit of Chen Fei's affiliated company, he had this thought. After he pointed out his relationship with Chen Fei, the senior management of the Songjiang International Hotel would know that he had a relationship with Chen Fei. In this way, it would be more convenient for him to order food or do other things in the future. They would probably give him face. Oh. It turns out that Chief Chen is also from the Chen family village. I really didn't know this. President Liu said with a smile, it seems that the Chen family village is really a place where talents come out in large numbers. It's not bad. Chen Jifu listened to President Liu's words, and his face suddenly bloomed with joy. He accepted President Liu's words and said without blushing at all, however, I'm not a talent. Chen Fei and my brother, Chen Jie, are the talents. President Chen is joking. Even in Songjiang, you are one of the top few. President Liu smiled flatteringly. Chen Jifu only felt comfortable all over. The unhappiness that Yang Ming had brought to him before had disappeared. However, when his gaze swept over Yang Ming, he still frowned. He thought in his heart, why is the gap between people so big? Well, President Liu, I still know what I'm worth. Anyway, I'm not good enough, but I'm good enough. Chen Jifu waved his hand and said, right, President Liu, how many of our Chen family village's guests have arrived? A lot have arrived. I have arranged for the waiter to take them upstairs first. President Liu said, President Chen, when will the dishes start serving? This is not urgent. Let's wait until my brother comes. Chen Jifu thought about it and said to Chen Fei, Brother Chen Fei, why don't you take the big sister and the child up first? I'll wait for my brother here. He will be here soon. His flight is at 4:30 in the afternoon. He should be here soon, including the drive. Oh. Then let's wait together for a while. Chen Fei heard that Chen Jie would be here soon, and it was not good to go upstairs alone, so he decided to wait together for a while. It just so happens that I haven't seen Chen Jie for several years, and his son, Chen Xiaolong. I remember that he seemed to be classmates with Meng Yan at that time, right? Yeah, Xiaolong is a good kid. He is excellent in both character and academics. He is now admitted to South A University. He is a top student. Chen Jifu boasted for his nephew. In fact, how could Chen Xiaolong be admitted to South A University? It was just that Chen Jie spent a large amount of sponsorship money to let Chen Xiaolong go to the United College of South A University. However, it was said to be South A University. The so-called United College was a school established by the cooperation of formal universities and private enterprises. However, there was still some gap in the graduation certificate. It was similar to the branch of Songjiang Industry University that Zhang Bin studied at that time. So, I have to prepare some meal ticket money for Chen Xiaolong in a while. Chen Fei smiled and thought that he could take this opportunity to return the previous 1,000 yuan favor. Yeah, now that you mention it, I just remembered that Xiaolong hasn't been back for so long. I haven't given him meal ticket money yet. I will give it to him in a while. Chen Jifu did not show the slightest inappropriateness because Chen Fei wanted to give him meal ticket money. In his opinion, Chen Fei could only show the closeness of the two families if he could give Chen Xiaolong meal ticket money. Chen Mengyan frowned at the side. Yang Ming was expressionless. He watched Chen Jifu's performance there, but there was a hint of mockery in his eyes. Yang Ming could now basically confirm that the whole thing tonight was probably related to Chen Mengyan. Although Yang Ming felt a little strange that Chen Xiaolong still had thoughts about Chen Mengyan after such a long time, Chen Jifu's words were almost all related to Chen Mengyan and Chen Xiaolong. This could not help but explain the problem. However, Yang Ming was not afraid of what tricks he could play. Whether it was Chen Jifu or Chen Jie, Yang Ming did not really care about them. Although Yang Ming could not kill them in public, he could still teach them a lesson, especially Chen Xiaolong. Of course, Yang Ming's mocking eyes were not noticed by Chen Jifu. On the contrary, Chen Mengyan was very sensitive to Yang Ming's every move. She noticed the disdain in Yang Ming's eyes and immediately felt relieved. With Yang Ming by her side, Chen Mengyan also had some confidence. Otherwise, Chen Mengyan was really afraid to face Chen Xiaolong because of what happened in the past. Chen Mengyan did not tell her parents or others about what happened in the past. Except for Yang Ming and Li Dagang, only Chen Mengyan himself knew about it. This incident left a psychological shadow on Chen Mengyan for a long time. Although it was very faint now, it was difficult to guarantee that she would not have any negative emotions when she saw Chen Xiaolong again. However, with Yang Ming by her side, Chen Mengyan was not afraid. Chen Jifu and Chen Fei were casually talking about Chen Jie and Chen Xiaolong. Suddenly, the hotel door was opened. Two young men in black suits rushed in quickly and held the curtain. This scene shocked the people in the hotel lobby. Those who did not know the situation thought that they had encountered robbers. However, the security guard at the door had clearly checked the identities of these people. Otherwise, they would not have been allowed to enter. So after the lobby manager, Chief Liu, was slightly shocked, he returned to normal. Although this kind of scene was not common, it had never happened before. Some of the top rich people, big shots, and celebrities would have bodyguards to clear the way when they went out. Chapter 1547. This situation meant that a big shot had arrived. Sure enough, after the two bodyguards parted the hanging curtain, a middle-aged man in a white evening dress and a fashionable young man walked into the hotel side by side. Seeing the person, Chen Jifu was taken aback at first, but then his face was full of joy. He ran over quickly. Jie, Xiaolong, you are here. That's great. Big brother. This middle-aged man in a white evening dress was indeed Chen Jie. Looking at his dressing, he was no different from the celebrities in the upper class. Even his walk had a trace of majesty and style. The young man beside him was naturally Chen Xiaolong. Chen Xiaolong's dressing was very fashionable, just like the fashionable people nowadays. His whole body was branded from head to toe, and his hair was styled. People could tell at a glance that he was a rich young master. Uncle. Chen Xiaolong saw his uncle whom he had not seen for many years and quickly greeted him. However, after greeting him, his eyes began to drift around the hotel lobby, looking for something. Previously, Chen Jifu had secretly sent him a text message, telling him that Chen Mengyan was also waiting for them in the lobby. So, as soon as Chen Xiaolong came in, he began to look for Chen Mengyan. Suddenly, a hint of joy flashed in Chen Xiaolong's eyes. He found Chen Mengyan. After not seeing her for many years, he found that Chen Mengyan had become more and more beautiful. Compared to her previous naivety, the current Chen Mengyan was like a blooming flower, delicate and beautiful. Chen Mengyan. Chen Xiaolong ignored his father and Chen Jifu beside him and walked quickly toward Chen Mengyan. But while walking, he struck a pose that he thought was very handsome. Speaking of Chen Xiaolong, he was actually not bad looking. Especially after deliberately dressing up, he gave off a cool vibe. In addition, he was dressed in famous brands from head to toe. When he was in the south, he attracted the attention of many girls. Speaking of girlfriends, Chen Xiaolong had changed a lot over the years, but it was just for fun. In his heart, he had a soft spot for Chen Mengyan. Perhaps the things that could not be obtained were always the best. The more beautiful Chen Xiaolong was surrounded by beauties, the more he wanted Chen Mengyan. Therefore, when he returned to Songjiang this time, he was like a demon. He vowed to pursue Chen Mengyan. When he saw Chen Mengyan at this time, his eyes were fixed on her. Chen Xiaolong sighed in his heart. The women he had played with over the years were really too tasteless. Mediocre women, mediocre women. Compared to Chen Mengyan, it was like heaven and earth. This was the perfect candidate for a girlfriend. As for those trashy girls from before, they could all go to hell. It would be impossible for him to even look at them in the future. Chen Mengyan, I haven't seen you for a long time. You are getting more and more beautiful. Chen Xiaolong walked in front of Chen Mengyan and made a style that he thought was very tasteful. He said to Chen Mengyan leisurely. Then, he took out a small gift box from nowhere and handed it to Chen Mengyan. This is a gift for our first meeting. Please accept it as a sign of respect. Chen Mengyan was disgusted with Chen Xiaolong. No matter how handsome his style was, in Chen Mengyan's eyes, he was a very annoying person. She would not look at him if she could. Even if he was dressed in famous brands, Chen Mengyan did not care about it at all. She even felt that it was a little showy. Seeing that he gave her a gift as soon as they met, Chen Mengyan's brows suddenly frowned. Chen Xiaolong, I can't accept the gift. We are not familiar with each other. So, I appreciate your kindness. Please take back the gift. Chen Mengyan replied coldly, but she did not reach out to take the small gift box. It's okay. It's just a little thing. It's not worth it. Chen Xiaolong said as he reached out to grab Chen Mengyan's hand and stuffed the gift box into her palm. It's just a watch that costs tens of thousands. It's very ordinary. Chen Xiaolong took it for granted that Chen Mengyan would gladly accept it after hearing the value of the gift. Because in his opinion, most girls loved money. Chen Mengyan was obviously no exception. Although Chen Fei was the bureau chief, his identity was just more honorable. His family could not have much money. So, Chen Mengyan would definitely be moved when he gave this watch. This was also his experience of picking up girls for many years. Many girls he liked in bars and schools, as long as he made a move, there were few who would not compromise under the influence of money. So, this successful experience made Chen Xiaolong think that he was already a master in the field of love. Dealing with Chen Mengyan was already a piece of cake. Mengyan has a watch. You should take this back. If you can't give it away, give it to a charity. Yang Ming reached out and blocked Chen Xiaolong's hand from grabbing Chen Mengyan. He said to him coldly. Chen Xiaolong was shocked when he heard Yang Ming's words. Only then did he notice Yang Ming next to Chen Mengyan. Previously, all his eyes and thoughts were attracted by Chen Mengyan. He did not pay attention to the people next to Chen Mengyan. Chen Xiaolong felt that this voice was a bit familiar, but he could not remember where he had heard this voice. Frowning and looking up, Chen Xiaolong looked for the source of the voice. Suddenly, he saw the owner of the voice. Chen Xiaolong was obviously stunned. Yang Ming. You are Yang Ming. Chen Xiaolong looked at Yang Ming in amazement. He was somewhat incredulous. Why are you here? Chen Mengyan is my girlfriend. Why can't I be here? Yang Ming glanced at Chen Xiaolong coldly. There was a hint of warning in his words. So, you'd better be honest. Chen Mengyan will not accept your things. Under Yang Ming's threat, Chen Xiaolong subconsciously took 2 steps back. The shadow that Yang Ming gave him before was too serious. He spent almost the entire first year of high school being beaten up. However, Chen Xiaolong soon woke up. No, why should I be afraid of him now? Now that everyone is an adult, the school fighting won't work at all. In this era, it's about who has money and who has power. You, Yang Ming, are just a little gangster. How can you compare to me? I am a rich second generation. My father is Qin Jie. So what if you can fight? I have bodyguards. Even if you can fight, I will let 2 bodyguards fight 2 against 1. Won't you be beaten to a pulp? Thinking of this, Chen Xiaolong suddenly became confident. He glared at Yang Ming. Yang Ming, who do you think you are? Chen Mengyan will decide whether she wants my things or not. What does it have to do with you? Are you her boyfriend? I'm not afraid to tell you that many girls who have boyfriends take the initiative to throw themselves at me. Yang Ming heard Chen Xiaolong's words and almost laughed out loud. Is this guy an idiot? How can he say this? Not to mention that Chen Mengyan will never like you. Even if she is tempted by your watch, it is impossible for her to say anything after you say this. I have a watch. I don't need yours. Is that okay? Chen Mengyan glanced at Chen Xiaolong in disgust. She was tired of even saying one more word, but she couldn't not say anything at this time. Chen Mengyan reluctantly explained. You have a watch. How much is it? 10 yuan. 20 yuan. Chen Xiaolong glanced at the watch on Chen Mengyan's wrist. This watch is only a few hundred yuan. Won't you lose your value by wearing this watch? Yang Ming was a little speechless. He guessed that Chen Xiaolong's way of picking up girls would only be able to pick up some bad celebrities who worshipped money. Those who were slightly more high-end would not be interested in him. Chen Xiaolong, after so many years, have you forgotten the pain of being beaten by me? Yang Ming glanced at Chen Xiaolong and said faintly, or do you think that I don't dare to beat you now? Beat me? Ha 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 ha. Chen Xiaolong seemed to have heard the funniest thing. You dare to touch me? Do you think we are still in school? If you dare to touch me, I will let my father's bodyguards kill you. Chapter 1548. Bodyguards. Yang Ming looked at Chen Xiaolong's so-called 2 bodyguards with some contempt. Although these 2 people seemed to be from a formal security company, they could only deal with ordinary people. Not to mention Yang Ming, they couldn't even deal with people who had a little bit of Sonda skills. For example, many of the security guards in the Songjiang International Hotel were strictly trained by Hou Jinhan and Bao Sonli. Their skills were not inferior to some professional Sonda players. It was a simple matter to deal with these 2 bodyguards. This was also the reason why they had allowed the 2 bodyguards to break in so easily. They had absolute confidence that they would be able to take down the 2 people in an unexpected situation. How is it? Are you scared? Chen Xiaolong saw Yang Ming's thoughtful expression and thought that Yang Ming was shocked by him. He couldn't help but be a little proud. He pointed at Yang Ming while the iron was hot and said, how about this? You apologize to me, and then disappear from my sight immediately. I will let bygones be bygones. Otherwise, humph. Speaking of this, Chen Xiaolong's eyes flashed with a look of resentment. At this point, he finally understood why Yang Ming would find trouble with him all the time for no reason. Why every time he pursued or flirted with Chen Mengyan, he would be beaten black and blue. Originally, he just thought that Yang Ming saw that he was easy to bully, so he deliberately found trouble with him. After all, during the school period, there were often some overbearing students who bullied the weak in order to show their strength. Therefore, Chen Xiaolong felt that he was unfortunate to become the weak tool for Yang Ming to show his strength. For so many years, he didn't think much about it, but at this moment, Chen Xiaolong suddenly woke up. He finally understood why Yang Ming beat him up. It was because Yang Ming also liked Qin Mengyan. Judging from the situation of him being with Qin Mengyan now, his guess should be correct. He just didn't know what means Yang Ming, this punk student, used to get Qin Mengyan. This made Chen Xiaolong very depressed. In his opinion, Qin Mengyan was a very rational girl. It was impossible for her to worship some punk youth. That was something that only delinquents would do. Qin Mengyan should consider the overall situation. Appearance and character were certainly part of it, but what was the most indispensable thing in life? That was money. Chen Xiaolong didn't believe that Qin Mengyan would not consider this. And now, Qin Mengyan and Yang Ming had indeed become a couple. Chen Xiaolong had to maliciously guess whether Yang Ming had used some despicable means. For example, Chen Xiaolong. Qin Mengyan was a girl. Qin Mengyan was Qin. She was a girl who cherished her reputation. Qin Mengyan was a girl. Qin Mengyan, B. It must be like this. In the beginning, because Zhou Ruoguang had an ulterior motive toward Qin Mengyan, he found Bai Hai to beat Zhou Ruoguang up. Now, he just regarded Chen Xiaolong as a joke and did not really take it to heart. Alright, Yang Ming, you better remember this. When there's a chance later, don't blame this young master for not reminding you. When the time comes, you'll lose all your face. Don't regret it. Chen Xiaolong saw that his father, Chen Fei, and others had turned their heads to look at this side. It was not good to continue to entangle. After leaving a few words, he turned and left. At this moment, although Chen Xiaolong was still a little brainless, he also knew that if he made things difficult for Yang Ming now, not only would it make Chen Fei angry with him, but it would also make his father and uncle lose face. Therefore, he did not mind letting Yang Ming go for the time being. When the banquet was over, he would find an opportunity to humiliate Yang Ming and make him ashamed. Why, Xiaolong? Do you know the little friend beside Qin Mengyan? Although Qin Jie had exchanged pleasantries with Qin Fei and Qin Jifu before, his peripheral vision had never left his son. Although he did not hear clearly what his son said to the young man beside Qin Mengyan, he could feel the smell of gunpowder between the two sides. Moreover, it was easy to guess that the relationship between the man beside Qin Mengyan and Qin Mengyan was not shallow. It was possible that he was Qin Mengyan's boyfriend. Qin Jie was also very surprised that Qin Mengyan had a boyfriend. He originally thought that with his current identity and status, being in-laws with Qin Fei was already giving Qin Fei a look. But now, Qin Mengyan actually had a boyfriend. This matter was difficult to handle. What was even more difficult was that Qin Mengyan's boyfriend seemed to have been recognized by Qin Fei. In this way, wouldn't my son have no chance? Thinking of this, Qin Jie's face became a little gloomy. This time, he returned to Songjiang to show off his return to his hometown. It was true, but the more important thing was his son, Chen Xiaolong's matter. Qin Jie had noticed that his son had frequently changed female companions over the years. But at first, he just thought that his son had developed the habit of playing with women because he was with those rich kids. Anyway, those women were not good people, so Qin Jie did not care. He thought that when his son grew up, he would introduce him to a permanent girlfriend. But after his son went to university, Qin Jie introduced a few daughters of his business partners to his son. Their family backgrounds and looks were not bad, and they could be considered to be a match for his son. However, when Chen Xiaolong heard that he was talking about a formal girlfriend, he immediately shook his head and refused. He did not even meet them. Even if he reluctantly met them, it was perfunctory. After that, there was no follow-up. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.